Yeah, time to do the things you Lee. Yes, indeed. A lot of things to discuss. I figured best to do the things that are limited for those who have like limited time to do first, so like regional stuff and whatnot. Um, Obviously we're wanting to press forward with the um time progression. I don't see Legacy in here yet, so probably need to be reiterated when they pop in, since they're the one who handles, the sending out of that stuff. But since the equipment guide is not done, I don't think it's going to be done tonight. I will be powering through the equipment guide as my game today has been canceled, so I might be able to finish it tonight. I went down about 6 more rabbit holes, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Um, but I've added a lot more content. It's pretty fancy. I'm saving time in the future. It's taken longer than expected. Um, but because of that, and since people have been specifically waiting on reducing their downtime days, um, I want to give everyone who has been waiting on crafting days, uh, essentially, those days are on pause until the equipment guide's out. So if they put any crafting days in now and we haven't got to it, it's on pause. If they put any downtime days from their leftover, it's on pause. It's available when things are over, or when the equipment guide's out. So it basically grandfathering those days into this new period. I don't. It's on us why they're not finished at this point in time. So
Okay, so a downtime renewal, the recuperation for expended exhausted resources goes through, and there's kind of a grandfathered in set of amount of days for people, but people get new days as well.
yes,
Okay.
yep. So any crafting days, those ones are just those days are basically added on to the new time period. They're already spent technically. They just we're not gonna be like, those are completed.
We do have a couple, a lot of uh, things to still go through.
Yeah,
Just been a busy week for a couple of us. Then
indeed.
all this discussion happened.
Yeah, and then there's like I think 8 things that I was working on for downtime, and I went full focus mode on the equipment guide so I can try to get it out in time. Didn't happen. Yeah, it's been a busy week for everyone.
We spent the last 3 days going over like 9 different balance things.
I noticed. Yeah, I popped in. I was like, I should probably pop on this, but I'm trying to get this equipment guide out. And eventually, I was like, I just need to pop in at this point.
We had Witch run their games or their like test games, found stuff out, spent the next 3 days trying to figure out how do we do all of this stuff or make it work, and that's how it's been for the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is fine because we do need to fix stuff, right? Like we do need to make stuff like Living World adjacent.
Yes.
Approved word.
It's true. That all said, balance is going to be a huge additional discussion to this thing. So I think in terms of those who are limited time, anything to be noted down about Baruja? Anything we need to know about? Like any big things happening there? Any wibbly wobbles? Things that should be noted?
Nothing yet. Just people continuing to, be brazen about their feeding in public.
Yep. So more murder. All right.
But nothing has happened yet. If they actually have to get caught for something to happen, and my mission is
looking political for an update on that.
Wait, did the lawman person try and eat another person again?
Not yet, but
oh sweet Jesus,
there's an update that's part of that, but I don't want to spoil because
this is a public meeting. Yeah, and things that are backside DM stuff should remain backside DM for lore purposes.
But nothing happening on my side of things until my mission reaches at least the midway point. If anyone else has anything, that's fine, but not for me.
Okay, cool. All right. In that case, seems things have been progressing properly. Still, nothing crazy. I I do have a ping that I need to read. A little surprised that Legacy's not popping in yet. Yeah. Anyways, let's go through the docket. Unless there's anything anyone else would like to bring up that have limited time.
Dolator, I'm going to be kicking off submissions today.
Nice.
And we'll be hitting into our milestone with those. I'll be also starting probably like a few week-long event in like a week or so that'll kind of tie in shortly to after when this first session is done today.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really new has happened yet in Dolator other than again, storyline things are in effect, I would say, for all the marks that we need to hit.
Okay, that's good.
But other than that, yeah, it's going in. Yeah, this game today that I'll probably be dipping out here soon. But yeah, it's gonna be kicking things off. So that's all I got. Unless Kate has anything else.
No, that was pretty much it. The only other thing is Saturday we are running the first mission for the faction to open for the Nocturnal Dawn. I am still on the fence of whether I want to make the trial a game and just have the 8 people join for the ease of not wanting to tear my hair out, or make it an RP events, which they basically function the same way. But yeah.
Oh.
But that'll get like yours with the game. Me and Sleepless are in, and yours for the faction similar same way. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't think it'd be too difficult. If you do want to just pop it to RP events, I'm sure some of the team can handle it, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good stuff. Good stuff.
But outside of that, we're good.
Nice. All right. Just to give you a recap, like I say, since you weren't here when I did the initial talk, because the equipment guide has not yet been released, I'm pushing it out. It's taken a while. Any days that are crafting currently in the downtime thing, they're on pause. We'll get to them when the guide is out. Any days that are not yet spent that people have been holding off to wait for the guide, tell them to put those days in, and they'll be considered grandfathered in to the upcoming downtime drop. And we're just going to do the drop as planned otherwise. Because that is on us, why it's not released, so I don't want to punish people for, being patient. Pretty much. So that's just the big thing for you. Other than that, it was Sitham saying Bruges is doing good, keeping on track. Stuff's
We're
not
not on fire yet.
Yeah, they're not on fire.
Not yet.
Yes, anyone who has been holding their DTD, submit it today. I'll say give them till the start of next Sunday to submit it for anything crafting related. Because crafting is what people have been holding on for, so they have till Sunday for anything crafting. Otherwise, it is being blapped as normal to the default downtime action, which is recuperate. Yeah, for crafting specifically, since that one is something that people have been holding off on and whatnot. So, if we get any posts about downtime crafting, also make it clear that those days when you're doing a submission form, that you're listed as from previous period drop, so we know where it's from. So we don't, just assume it's from the new period. Yes. Anything not spent during the holdover by next Sunday automatically goes to recuperate. Yeah, we should be dropping the downtime this Sunday, today. Maybe tomorrow, depending on how long it takes to get the Patch notes. Yeah, we have gone over Bruges and Dolator. We have not gone over our Locus yet. No. But we can go over that now, since that initial bit has been listed. How is your side of things with our Locus going, Earlobe?
Good. Next group should be coming up in a couple weeks for the next part of the mission. I expect that at least in our Logos for the Blight to be a majority of our overarching, like our overarching storyline for pretty much most of Tier 1. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be like a quick solution, but there will be like smaller missions to clear out small areas one by one kind of thing. But the overarching story shouldn't end until the end of Tier 1.
Excellent. Very good, very good. Good stuff indeed. Alright. And now that we have a legacy, anything of note to bring up about Eldiria? I'm gonna give you a second to do your little tippy tappies. But while you're doing the tippy tappies, yeah, no, any downtime days that have been spent that have not been completed by the team will also be backdated. Yeah, just for full clarification. As again, that is more of an us thing. We don't want to punish people for an us thing. Yeah. But I imagine any crafting submission that has been posted might be requested to be replaced, because there's a lot of changes and a lot of new things. Yeah. For example, if someone wants to make a sock, I have rules on how to make socks now. I went that down into the weeds.
Please.
I told you guys have been going on way too many side projects.
We're just gonna take the guide from you for like a week because the next thing you're gonna say is you made clothes for tiny people that fit perfectly.
I mean, technically.
Oh my god!
Listen, I have someone in my region who has 870 pounds of silk.
Yeah.
That had something to do with it. Come on,
It's true.
Yeah. I know. I read that and I'm like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, while Legacy is doing that and we're before balance stuff, did we want to roll for those players afterwards today? Or did we want to
The new edition
wait?
players?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Because the sooner we get it out, the quicker we can get those sheets out, because that's going to be at least 10 people we have to DM.
Yeah. Since the new sheet we have, the blank sheet is the new sheet, any new additional players isn't really an issue. We don't have to worry about updating their sheet. So yeah, no, it's an easy clap.
Also, make an announcement a little bit before we roll for players, telling them to update their character submissions with their new Discord names.
Yes.
Yep.
As a lot of people's names changed quite a bit, and it would be hard for us to find out who they are.
It might actually be easier, for me to just cleanse the list and then do a new fresh. Everyone use this week to submit new characters.
Okay.
That way, I'm not rolling
it's
people from way
Eldaria
back
time.
up.
I would say not cleanse the list, just because that's where all of our backstories and stuff are.
So we've got two major developments in this past time period, one being NERP's reveal of the Skysworn and a potential future plotline relating to some ruins. Next time period I'm going to be focusing on progressing some big influence expenditures. Other pre-planned stuff includes I'm going to be running my first few textual missions showing how the Adventurers Guild operates within Eldaria, as well as the RP event for getting out of Eldaria.
Nice. Very good, very good. So good progress then on Eldaria. Eldaria. Words. Good stuff. Quick thing, just more of a reminder, just popped into my mind. If you're a DM and players are using Destiny points in your session, and you don't assign it to any boss rank creature, because you can always assign it to boss rank creatures, and you have like leftover villain points, just let us know in the region channel that, hey, this region has gained X villain points. Preferably in the version of this region has gained 2 Destiny points worth of villains. Because the way it's tracked is you just add up the Destiny points used. Like any leftover points, just let us know. And that goes for any RP events that are happening in your region that you're handling, anything of that nature, just post it in there so we know to add it to the tracker. Because the big tracker is where I'm keeping track of any things that we could use. So, and I know that we've probably missed a few.
Let's talk about how much time to progress.
Yes.
How much time you all thinking your regions will need? A month might be good for me personally, or until the very last day of the year so we can have next time progression start on the new year.
I was thinking about I wouldn't say like a full year because, well, actually, how does RP events feel about that? Because if we do a full year or a full month, we're probably going to be looking at a lot of Christmas themed events because a lot of people have the winter solstice around that time, a month from where we're currently at. So we'll probably want to start running events of that nature.
So, as for RP events, like the actual RP event stuff, I have 2 people that reacted to my ping,
Mm-hmm.
and neither one of them have run an RP event yet. I,
Gotcha.
of course, gave them the month of like, hey, month of July, you need to get 2 RP events out and be RPing or doing other work.
Mm-hmm.
As for one of them, I believe that, what's her name? Hall is probably gonna be taking a back seat for a bit, but he
Mhm.
has informed me of that. He doesn't really have a character currently, so it's not really a big deal.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully with the staff and training, we can get you some more people to help out. And just general call here. Anyone wants to help out RP events, running NPCs, running events for people. That is something that we could use. RP events tag, like the full tag, that one is a slot option. So if you want a character slot, doing an RP events full member will provide you that character slot. So, sign on, and we're starting to kick off RP events training, so that should hopefully start getting more people into the training list.
Unfortunately, we haven't had any new DMs either. We only have had the 2. The rest have been people that want to do like creation or lore. I don't say political because we're actually pretty anal about people who want to join political.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, and as Legacy is saying in chat, if you are Dungeon Master or anything like that of a region, you're good to just run events too. Just make sure you get with Duke to make sure you're got all the specifics hammered out.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any issues with DMs running events in their area. Just
Yes,
make
back to
sure.
time. Carmilla, what do you think? 30 days?
Jokey is doing his game tonight, so that will at least progress it. Obviously, the time skip will not affect the players in the game because fluid-ish time stuff. So 30 days sounds fine. We can push it forward.
That sounds good. Like month-ish, something
Yeah.
like that. Like I was saying, and I'm planning on running like some holiday-ish events, like late Christmassy, early January type events, sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
that
So a month goes by is fine. Obviously, if a player is in a game when we do it, that doesn't apply to them until after the game. So
Yeah.
or say after the mission, not the game. 'Cause, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine.
Any time constraints for you, Sithams?
So the theme of this time period is more just getting into the swing of things, and we can start writing and prepping for next time period of Christmas/New Year things.
Mm-hmm.
No, a month move ahead is fine by me, and it also gives good reason for like post mission stuff to occur because obviously that wouldn't occur instantaneously, so it all works.
Yeah. All right. 30 days works for me then. Yeah. Any issues you might have with 30 days earlobe?
Nope, 30 days should be fine.
Cool. That's good. Easy clap. It really just depends on the region. Winter solstice, any events of that nature are a cultural festival, so any different sub-kingdom, village, main nation, it's gonna be widely different. I think Baruja and Eldiria are probably the closest to be as close to our traditional Christmas. But yeah, Dragon Mass and all that, they say prayers to Typhon and whatnot. But our Logos is probably a bit different. They probably have, like, if I remember correctly, winter solstice hunts, more of a prayer to the Everbloom, things of that nature. A lot of more like festivals akin to the lighting of the lanterns type of thing. More spiritual in nature, not so much a let's drink some things, get a lot of presents, send them out. Yeah. And then for Doladur, well, Doladur's Doladur.
We have Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
It's just you don't want something coming down your chimney. Just
Pretty much.
Perugia is Krampus country.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
it
true.
is. I mean, there probably actually is a Krampus in the hills, east of Noctis Woods.
I swear to God, if Krampus shows up in our game, I'm just hitting him.
So, are Krampus and Santa going around from door to door?
Look, I'm just saying,
Give 'em liquor.
the vampires made a lot of weird things. Anyways, 30 downtime, or 30 days have passed. I would say we should give out 20 downtime days, unless you guys think we should give out more or less. But I'm thinking 20 is a good number for us.
Is that accounting the 5 you get from Sage and all that stuff?
20 is just the base number before modifiers.
Okay.
Is what I'm suggesting. So we are passing 30 days in time, so if we want to do 30 days to keep it looking fairly normal, we could do that too. But I feel like 20 is a better number for us right now.
I'm good. I've
It is, yes.
no complaints there. It's fine.
All right. Sounds like 20 is a good number then. So 20 downtime days, 30 days of game time pass. Good stuff.
We were pretty adamant that they would have to be picky about their days anyway, so this just even further cements hey,
But also, in
also
this next
that too.
This next one, I want to put more emphasis on. We just don't allow cancellations because they found out they want to use their downtime days for something else.
Yeah.
In RP, so.
Yeah, we can allow the cancellations of crafting from previous signups. So if they signed up in this current phase that we're currently on, and they want to switch their crafting for another crafting, that one I would say is fine. But anything beyond that, no more cancellations. People need to, when they submit it, the reason why I have it submitted as no edits is they need to be sure that they want to do that.
Yeah, and people were starting to use it because they found out something else in RP they wanted to gather info for.
Yep. So you should keep your days with that in mind. They're a limited resource. Use them sparingly and wisely. Or use them, like, blow your load and be sad. But, you know.
Also, I'm pretty sure if we get one more cancellation, Sack might actually kill somebody.
In terms of what you just posted there, Eldaria, Bruges, Idolater.
For yours, for Eldaria, you might. I don't know if you intend for food and life reagents to be like plus 40%. Oh no, it's mercantile and shopping price. I would just make sure that it's understood that shopping prices and mercantilism are different. That's all I have.
I would just capitalize shopping and mercantilism, simply because
Yep.
it is a mechanical title, and you generally want to capitalize those things. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, just capitalize shopping and then capitalize mercantilism. Other than that, yeah, it's looking good. Looking good. With the changes and all that, I would have them only last for this time period. If we think during the next period discussion that they should continue or they should be modified, we can do that as well. But they should only last for this period. Yeah, pretty much. Because, I mean, I imagine if the Blight stuff starts going really crazy and starts moving deeper into Eldaria, that might change to plus 40%. Who knows? We'll find out. Yeah, it's definitely initial panic. But things get super crazy. Anyways, with all those listed out there, all that good stuff, the thing I was going to say, which mine just mind blanked, it's a cursed existence, truly. Yeah, I think the time regression is good to go. There's like one thing I was going to say, and it's slipped my mind instantly, and I think we're good. I don't think I'm going to remember what it was anytime soon. Probably be in the middle of the general meeting when I remember it. But, good stuff. There's a massive amount of stuff to go over in terms of other stuff. In layman's terms, that would be a, correct, yes. So, we still have not received a wanderer, or a witch, as they prefer to be called, which is unfortunate considering they wanted to arrive for this, but they've been pinged at this point 3 times, so I'm not sure if we should ping them again.
Balance won't be until the end, it's okay.
Good, okay. We don't have to worry too much about it.
Balance is kind of the biggest portion of this meeting, so.
Yeah. It's gonna be big bada boom. I haven't touched some of the feats because I know people wanted to discuss them further, but I've touched a lot of stuff at this point. Alright. With that all said, before we get to any of the spicy stuff, anyone who has limited time, is there anything that you want to bring up at this point in time? Anything to note down, things to discuss that you should be like, we should discuss this?
I got nothing.
I do have one thing, but it's pretty big.
Now, if you have limited time, let's discuss it.
Well, I don't have limited time. I'll be here all day.
I think I'm good on whatever on anything right now at the moment.
Okay.
So.
All right. Since no one has anything that is limited time based, we can kick off into the other sets of stuff. So, I know they said they're good. So in that case, yeah, we definitely should pin that. You're right. You can go ahead with your thing, Sack. We can go into the other spicier stuff after.
I mean, this is pretty spicy. We do have 2 people with a leadership tag who aren't doing anything, and we kind of need more people who can say do this or do that to help you, Legacy, Carmelia out.
Gotcha. That is spicy right there, yeah.
Dream and Charles are general. They're both willing to help, so I can poke them about it.
Ooh, like, I'm doing my best. Like, obviously, I am the head of balance with NERP, but I don't know everything. So
Yeah, we
I'm
just
like, I'm doing my best to help and try and get things pushed, but there's
it
it's a
it's
lot.
yeah, it's a lot, and we just need more people higher up plugged in and helping.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
I'm unsure if they really like understand the systems that we're dealing with at this point and could help.
I can push stuff through. I just like I can post and patch notes, stuff like that to get it through, but as is, it's pretty much just like me, Witch, and NERP and Sec going through all of this like for the past 3 days, trying to get a middle ground somewhere.
And also, I don't want to be leadership. I don't have the time for that.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think in that case, one, you should get with them, make sure that they are still Gouda. Basically, being leadership, they should be at these meetings. Just so that, they can help out with things that you're saying. Because if they're not in these meetings, or they're not watching the videos, I don't know if they're watching the videos, then that right there means that they are not having as much knowledge about what's happening, so them being able to help us, as you're saying, isn't really as viable because they're not in the loop. But we should probably run another, anyone wants to become leadership. Another one of those, I wouldn't really call it a race, but if anyone's interested, we could use more help. So if you are wanting to hop on the leadership train and start kicking things off, maybe working on the World Anvil, taking some stress off of that particular issue, helping.
I don't think they're involved in the meetings much because their original role was more for the community side of things.
Yeah.
So let's see if they want to get involved in the LW stuff or take on some kind of tasks.
Yeah. I mean, I know that they are specifically more moderator, so I haven't really been worried about it. But we have changed how certain things function since then, so it's good to touch bases.
Honestly, the fact that we haven't had to use a lot of moderation in the last year and a half is surprising.
It's nice.
Like, we've had maybe one incident, and even then it was
Communication always helps. Good that it was brought up.
Yeah. True. But yeah, no, if you're interested in joining any leadership thing, or if you want to help out with any major department, help out with things like the World Anvil, with doing patch note stuff with Legacy or anything of that nature, just message me, message leadership like Legacy or whatnot. We can
All right.
get that set up.
NERP, you got any updates? Also, I'll talk to you about updating leadership later.
Yeah. From my side of things, I already kind of mentioned this at the beginning. I've added over 300 pages worth of content to the equipment guide. I'm still adding more stuff. It's been drastically expanded at this point. Dear God. But there's something that is not fully related, but I did want to mention it during the general meeting. As I was suggested to, rather than just doing it, to give it a little announcement and then do it in like a week. My Patreon I've been working on, I should be launching next Sunday. That thing I'll be giving out like pre-made dungeons, missions, monsters, custom feats, custom things of that nature. Basically a bunch of stuff I'm already doing, but more geared towards a general audience. I'll also be working on my game stuff in there, and probably be giving out some art stuff too. It's just I'm working on it. It's almost released. Heads up if you're interested in supporting me with my creation stuff. It'd be much appreciated. But yeah, that's the thing I've been working on. Right now, I'm actually working on a dungeon for it, so I can have a fully fleshed out NERP map dungeon with full on mission document on like how the dungeon functions, monsters that are custom made for the dungeon, custom boss monster made for the dungeon with art, because I'm getting my brother and his best friend to make art for me. And I'm gonna be releasing that as the first drop of content. And I should be finished by Sunday, which is why it's not released today. But also I was told I should announce that I'm doing it and then release it, so there's a little bit of a forewarning. Correct. Most of the Patreon is focused towards things that are like generic 5e or maybe even Pathfinder custom content, and just really whatever patrons are suggesting at the time. Anything Syrik related, I'm obviously just blapping right into Syrik. I might be releasing stuff for the Patreon as well that will be used in Syrik, but those are not going to be those that are restricted to Patreon. They're just more like, here's something I've made. Have at it. It's essentially an addition to I'm listening for them, not a. This is a thing. Yeah, a lot of it's gonna be like maps, missions, custom creatures, custom things for that nature.
Basically, like if anyone in Syrik thinks by going to the Patreon and they might get an advantage, they're not going to get an advantage.
Correct.
That should be the layman thing. There is everything posted will be not for Syrik, and it's not going to get you an advantage or anything.
And if it is posted, and I'm like that should be in Syrik, it's going to be in Syrik. So it's being a patron will not give you access to things that are locked behind Patreon wall. No, it is just things that are. It's separate from the living world.
We're just going to nip that in the bud right away.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Patreon supporting Syrik indirectly is accurate. The money that will be coming in will help pay for like the monthly bill that I'll be having for the scheduling bot, which will allow us to do the super crazy stuff that we've been unable to do yet. It'll help pay for art for any of the Spheres of Divinity books. Another big thing that the Patreon will also be doing is it's not actually TTRPG related, is my game design stuff. So like the card game I've been working on for a couple months now. I'll be like posting drops for that game there, so people if they want to like grab the tabletop simulator file that I have for it, I'll be dropping the file, things of that nature. So yeah, any game design stuff I do is also going to be in the Patreon, which when I get out of university will probably also include video games, not just board games. But yeah, it's just wanted to bring it up. It's not really super related, but since this is a general meeting and it's also technically going to help the living world indirectly, it is something I thought to bring up. Clarify distinction between researching and gathering information, actions, public facing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when me and Sock were going through several downtime, there were some issues over whether actions would be considered gathering information or researching lore. And when we actually looked at the World Anvil, there really is no explanation of a difference between them. One just says populace in order to gather rumors and information. The other one just says you use documents and research to understand a given subject. While we on this side have a pretty big understanding of the difference between the two, there is nothing public facing that sets that distinction apart by saying, hey, this is word of mouth, not everything is going to be true kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one's going to be like, hey, this is a book. Like, while books can be wrong, most of the time they're probably going to be right, So some sort of general understanding of the difference between the two for the public would be helpful, especially because a lot of the requests are starting to, we'll have some that they say are rumors and they really should be researching lore instead.
I am currently updating the downtime rules with your suggestion. I'm going to do this in a notepad so I don't get lagged out because I have too much content on this page.
In general, just for people doing downtime days, if it seems like something that Joe at the bar probably wouldn't be passing around as a rumor, it's probably something they should be researching lore.
While we're on downtime, I had one other question. I think it was answered before, but partaking in therapy, that requires the person providing the therapy to be proficient in medicine, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, because on the World Anvil, it might be under the medicine skill, but under therapy, there's nothing here that says that it also requires to be with someone who is proficient in medicine. It says licensed professional, but it doesn't explain what licensed professional is. That's just a personal gripe, but
Okay, I'll just do that. That's an easy, quick update.
Therapy was for sanity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there will be more coming with that for additional options and things later.
Yeah. I do remember what therapy is for because we're not like at a
But downtime Dave's will work in the meantime for it. Yeah.
yeah, I know. Moth did or put in therapy for doing stuff with bits, where he felt this character got therapy, which is completely fine. And there was nothing in here that said he didn't, so I'm probably just going to improve it so he regains 4 sanity, and then just in the future have him say that it has to be with someone with proficiency in medicine.
That would maybe also need. I would okay.
Yeah, I mean they like I actually did look over through the RP and stuff. Like I think it was fine, but for future reference, I'll probably attach the caveat that hey, you need to do this with someone who is proficient in medicine.
Okay. Oh, and on a personal note, get to me later and I'll get you your response. Sorry.
Yeah, boy.
I haven't forgotten, but anyways,
Let's go.
I'm gonna dip.
Later.
Later. Bye.
Ciao. Alright, protocols for players dropping games during other games.
Oh, right. So Pi had a player drop from their game after they had been selected because another game came up where they had priority and they said, fuck it, I'm going to go with this one instead. One, that's kind of a dick move because we already have a limited amount of players and we can't have that keep happening.
It does become quite a headache if players are allowed to drop from one mission when they see another mission that they like more pop up.
I think.
Oh yeah, like as for Blissor is fine.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a rule for it.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
It also ended up that game couldn't run and stuff. So
yeah. I think for a good rule of thumb, something we can like put in patch notes. If you are accepted into a mission, you need to confirm that you are accepted into this mission. And once confirmed, you have already left that mission. You cannot change mission. So basically, you confirm that you're good to go. Once that's been confirmed, you're on that mission. You can't swap out.
will we have a time limit on that confirm? Because I could see people just saying, They're not going to confirm it like a day before the mission's supposed to.
Confirm within a day, within 24 hours.
Sock, stop stealing my thoughts.
well, also obviously if people need to drop for legitimate reasons,
Yeah.
we're not gonna like go after them. But obviously this was a niche case of something happening that frankly shouldn't have happened, but it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, if they, something comes up, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if this is more to avoid people dropping a mission to join another mission, because they're already on the way out the door, they wouldn't have the knowledge. They wouldn't be given, from an in-character standpoint, they would not be given the ping about this other mission. They would not know about it at that point because they already accepted one. They've accepted a contract, and the
Did
guild
we just
itself.
judge based on intent and history?
Essentially, it's going to be a little harder to fully judge, but from an in-character standpoint, the guild itself, the Seekers Guild, they would not send you a contract when you've already accepted one. Be like, taking on a contract to go work with, Joe Schmo, but like Philly, I don't know, we're just gonna call him Philly. They are like, hey, do you want to work on this job? And then you pissed off Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
And now suddenly the guild's gotta like let Joe Schmo know that everything's cool. We'll pay you for your loss of time for having us say we're gonna send a guy out there, but never did. And that looks bad for the guild, which means they probably won't want you as a player. Yeah, it's an issue. From an in-character standpoint, it is an issue.
Hopefully we don't have to add.
No, I mean
rules
like we're like Uber the car company.
Oh yeah, pretty kind of.
Hopefully we don't have to start adding rules to deal with people trying to get around some of these rules because they'll say I got sick and I can't head here. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Like,
But
It'll become pretty
also-
obvious when they sign up for the mission the next
we
day.
could also punish that under moderation rules.
yeah.
Or, try and
Also,
exploit the system.
along the same lines is we do have the issue of we're seeing a lot of people like before of a lot of people are getting in more games that technically should not because they're not following the rules of you played. You are on a week break. You cannot be chosen. You cannot join games unless it's a specific mission that would say otherwise, like say Prestige. Otherwise, you don't play for a week.
Well, on that regard, for those who are post mission, they can still be checked. They just can't mark it as accepted. They have to mark it as tentative. For those who are in mission, they should not be signing up, period.
Right.
We do have a lot of people signing up tentative who are in missions.
Yeah.
Which is good.
But we also need to be a bit more until I get the upgrade to our bot, which will allow us to just do this automatically. As DMs, we do need to be more active in, as soon as someone is accepted to our mission, give them the on-mission tag. And as soon as our mission is done, give them the post-mission tag. Because the players can't do that, so we have to be the ones who do that. So just if you're running games, please remember to do that, because if, I had to remove a tag for someone who hasn't been in a game for 8 days, because we forgot to do it, so. Yeah. So if something of that nature happens, that's kind of on us. But until that upgrade is given to the bot, it is going to be a little harder to fully set up for us, but yeah. Let's see here.
A witch.
Hello, witch. Yes, that is looks good.
Fucking slept.
Imagine there was a late night of gaming involved. I don't remember if there was a raid going on or not, but I feel like there might have been.
We definitely didn't stay up till about like 6 o'clock in the morning talking about balance. No,
totally didn't do that.
On Friday night.
I did that on Friday night too, working on a character, which I ended up having the game cancel. Yeah. I mean, it was fun. I was making new spells. But, you know. Alright. What's next on our docket? Legacy.
Oh, also for the, I think you're confusing ruling of players. That was more of just if you have a lot of people that are in your game that signed up and you don't really know what to do, you just kind of roll, insert number of players, 1d whatever, pick one, blah blah blah, just to make it fair. If they have priority and stuff, you take them first and then weed out the rest, but yeah.
I'm going to head out as well.
Yeah, but do
Luck with
enjoy.
the rest of the meeting.
Take care.
Yeah, the intention is to open up slots. Not this week. We're announcing that we're going to be opening up slots. We're going to be, I'm not going to say cleansing the list, but we're going to be like a list of submissions, but we're going to be making a new one, essentially. That way we still have like the old submissions listing out and all that. And I can mark the ones who have signed up since we did the initial drop, and mark them as potential players too on the drop. Just so I'm not like going through people who signed up like 10 months ago or whatever it was, and are not really interested anymore. So I'll make sure everyone who is interested are actually still interested. So I believe we got a decent number of like civilians and whatnot who have not even touched the game, and player adventurers too. It's still DM choice with the ideas of like priority based on like the region. If they are in the region that you're running for, you should give them some priority, and you can give them other priorities as well based on your mission itself. This is just saying for players, if they have played, like they're in a game right now, please don't sign up for other games.
I might write those rules up a bit more clearer for players, then put them in the RP rules and etiquette.
Yeah.
So that's a clear rule, and if they start breaking them, we punish them.
Like, if we start having games that don't have enough players to run, then yeah, I can see letting people who are in missions already play games. But we have a player range of 4 to 6, so we shouldn't have that issue pop up. We should try to get for 6 players, but if we go lower than 6, it's fine.
And if we start not being able to run games, it's more, we need
More players
more
in the
players.
world, yeah. But I was thinking 10 players for the new drop. I know people were saying 5. I want to kind of hear anyone else's opinion and kind of gauge where we should be at. We've always been designed for running 6 players.
Yeah.
We've been designing for 4 to 6 because there are people that are okay with 6 that can easily run it and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I argue for 5 new players just because I worry about too many at once, and DMs kind of dropping out when we go forward and all that. So having more players than DMs that are really running is less of a problem than the other way around.
Mm-hmm. It's true. But I was suggesting 10 total new players, which will be rolling those slots next Sunday. Mostly because I want to go through the current slot list that we have and put them into the new slot list form. So, and then you basically give us time to go through everything and make sure everything's good, and then I looked at a article on Discord forums that looks fine. It doesn't look too difficult. I think it would work probably a bit better than threads in certain areas. So like suggestion might be better for threads, or suggestion box might be better for forums rather than threads. But you know, either which way. Yeah, it certainly would be easier to look through them than threads. Yeah, we do some staff channel tests forums, yeah. Just typing up another thing for the update for the downtime list real quick. There we go. Okay. All right, reading chat real quick. All right. Next one, big one's a wall of text. I'm just reading through chat. Okay. Go ahead.
I believe this was from one of the players that wanted. What's the best way to put this? Wants a structure. I don't believe they have ill intent behind it, but I also don't trust this thought process because it makes it seem like they're trying to get the most out of a game, which we don't really want that mindset.
Like XP should be granted based upon how much you interact with
Right,
the DM is
like
presenting,
they're-
opposed to
the way this is worded, and I'm not trying to like say they're going for this, but the way it's worded makes me feel like they are trying to pull the Verum thing where, hey, well, this has got 6 missions, it's a major, and it's going to give 12 EXP. You know, maybe I'm going to wait and use my priority for this. This is kind of how it feels.
Mhm.
So,
Which I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it isn't, but the way it's worded, just that's kind of how it feels.
It's probably just poor wording, but
Yeah.
I think if you look to the root of the suggestion, this part is fair on our side, and something that we could and should easily do, or should and could easily do, and that is on our mission document page. We should give greater guidance on how one would apply these values. So right now, it's very much just whatever you feel, and that's not really helpful as a DM to know. Oh, this mission to like this milestone to go and like sneak into the castle. That's whatever you feel right now. So if we give examples of difficulty levels in the document, which currently aren't there, it'd be easier to gauge as a new DM or a expert DM or anything between what those values should be. So essentially, for our side of things, that I'm taking the suggestion as expand our guidelines in the mission document, so our DMs can get a better gauge of where they should stand. They can obviously ignore those rules; they're guidelines, but it would help us as DMs to know generally where those should fall. Because like the same, using the castle example, sneaking into the castle. Let's say it's a castle filled with 50 guards, all like +8 perception checks, and you're in like a 1 to 2 mission. That seems pretty freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
One player might consider that somewhat easy, because they're not taking into account the fact that it's a fucking castle, and castles are designed to protect people inside. So there's very many things that could change the difficulty in that. That like one player who's studied like castles and how they function, like how they're actually built, and then how certain D&D maps make castles look, which is not at all accurate and not at all defensible. Where like traps might not like be a case in medieval or in fantasy castles, which would also obviously increase the difficulty of it. Certain things like seeing that the castle has, Rancor in the pit in the basement. That'd be something else that could increase the difficulty of sneaking through it. But just varying things that, if we have some guidelines, will help better help
Right.
our DMs gauge the difficulty levels of what they should set.
Obviously, like we can't like every DM obviously is not going to have the same idea of what EXP means, because some people do. Like there are some that are going to reward you for, say, hey, you talk to we'll use the farm example. Hey, you talk to the farm guy, you did some work, you RP'd out,
Check my no-mic messages real quick because I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on what XP represents within Syrik, conceptually.
Right. Like it's just going to come down to the DM, which is we can't really do anything about that without giving guidelines.
Yeah. Have people been giving out experience only for combat encounters?
I did a very combat heavy mission, but it was combat
Well, I'm
mission. But
I just saw Gucci's post
Probably
about
did too.
killing things.
I got 5 XP and I literally there was 2 rounds of combat.
Because okay, you just made me okay. I was like, it's in the guidelines. I'm pretty sure I put it there where XP can be from anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought I was going crazy.
No,
Like, did they not put
No,
that?
no.
we understand.
Okay.
No, so far, all of the missions that we've had, even Chuni, who kind of needs to calm down because you're going to get burnt out real fast,
They have been
have been
good stuff.
have
It's
been
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, have been pretty like in the middle with people are RPing, they're having fun,
Mhm.
they're actually playing the game and not just combat, and then you're getting the other side of combat, which is so far it seems like it's been we haven't really had any issues outside of the obvious balance stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so far it's been okay.
Okay. Good.
I think the low XP ones might have been someone who was mistaking just
They might have taken from the
combat.
encounter table.
To clarify,
yeah,
I was
I
writing
don't
that as an
understand
example.
how-
Peppa Hands, I'm saying in an iSky story world experience just means like enemy strength being taken into yourself. I'm using that as a comparison to ask what does XP mean in Syrik? Is it just experiencing the world, or is it overcoming adversity, or is it something magical/metaphysical, or something else?
It is. I wouldn't say it's overcoming adversity. It's more of an act that has impacted your character in some meaningful way. So it could be overcoming adversity. It could be creating a painting that is so goddamn gorgeous that you just have to sit back and look at it and be like, yeah, I did that. Plus 2 XP. So, like, whatever you think is worth experience. If you want to have a painting contest in your mission, and you give, like, a milestone that gives 3 experience for that, or maybe you're actually using the combat music system I made, where people are literally having a battle of the bands type of combat, for, like, a painting battle. Yeah, no, fucking have at giving experience. You guys do what you do.
You know what I actually really like about how we do this in Syrik? It actually matches what experience means. Not just combat experience, but just experiencing the world.
Yeah, like I think a good example is like when you're planning an encounter, right? You don't know how it's gonna go. You don't know if it's gonna swing in the player's favor or your favor. Like for example, Sack's game or the one that Sack was in for mine, Pi got down twice.
Yeah.
And so like and like had Pi not gotten up and the monster went for the other guys who were squishy, because like again, like they were mostly mages and rogues. They don't have a lot of HP. They're probably gonna get dunked, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they cleared the encounter. It was still a hard one, so that's still a solid 4 to 6, because hey, lo and behold, it swung almost out of their favor.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said, I still think XP minimums aren't bad.
Oh yeah, no, that's why
it's
you
not.
design the milestone, and if they go under that difficulty, you still give them what you designed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example,
I-
I'm going to use my game I'm running on Wednesdays, Caverns of Loch-Kadun. I'll just do the first session plus a little bit extra, just because I don't want to give any spoilers for them. But curing the sick in town, that was worth 3 experience. I considered it I believe, a medium difficulty task.
I think you gave us 3 for that.
Yeah.
3 or 4 for it, but yeah.
There was a gecko encounter. That one was technically a easy encounter, but I was using 3-4 creatures, so I boosted it by double. So instead of 1, it gave 2. The cliff encounter, there's a cliff encounter with a bunch of foul crows. I believe that one gave 1 experience for climbing the cliff. It would have been 3 had they been fighting creatures while climbing, but they didn't do that. And they had a map that made that encounter completely negated, because it was a designed encounter, though. Even that they had something that negated it entirely, which they did. I still gave them the 1 experience.
Yeah, I think, like what you just said, putting that into the document just so DMs can recognize, hey, it's more than just combat, will be good.
Yeah. I'm going to give one more example, and this kind of goes into something I mentioned earlier. They have not received this experience yet, but as soon as they reach the shores of Loch-Kadun, so as soon as they get to that map, they get experience. Just from reaching that place and seeing how pretty that shit is. So,
Obviously, we should say, like, just because a player circumvents your thing, you shouldn't deny them EXP. Like, like just because me and I believe someone else in that game were able to fly up the hill and avoid having to do the encounter, didn't take away from us still doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, no, that's basically XP.
Oh, this isn't about this, but I was talking with someone about adding civilians onto missions because I believe you previously mentioned civilian slots may
Yes.
become a thing. Just wanted to get people's thoughts on it. Because I know Earlo was telling me that he didn't really care for it.
It's an option for DMs to use if they want to
I-
have that civilian on the mission.
Yeah,
I
to
don't think
clarify,
it-
I go ahead. Sorry, I didn't. Mean
I
to
don't think
interrupt.
it gives them XP depending on what they are actually doing in that mission.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So the current idea for civilian missions, obviously you mark it as civilian potential when you're setting up the mission. And you mark it what type of civilian it is. So if it's like an escort mission, I can see civilians getting experience for that because they're surviving an escort through like bandit-laden roads. If it's just, hey, I'm looking for a civilian within Karstein because I'm running a game there and I would like a shopkeeper civilian, you don't need experience to give that. But they can be there. They can interact with other players and show them in the world, and that's something that you guys can do. And I don't want to limit people from doing that. But the people who have been like leery of it, people who have been like, yeah, let's do this. So, as you were saying, getting more people's thoughts on the matter would be good. But that is my current idea regarding civilian missions. Yeah, if it's just a guest, no XP. If it is you're part of this mission, I need a civilian for this mission, or I would like to have one for this mission, they should get XP.
One was the thing that actually came up was if say a civilian gets kidnapped, is that something that we want to actually run a civilian that gets kidnapped as a mission to go save that civilian if there is the possibility of death?
Yes.
I mean, I think that also falls on the rule. Like when someone dies and become a revenant, they get a mission to come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of in the same vein. Clearly, people want to go help. It just depends on the person that has to write the mission.
Yeah. The suggestion that you're looking there, Legacy, they're just suggesting the wording's a little weird.
Yes.
Simply because due to your large size and bulk, that's purely flavor text. But they're reading it as, or suggesting that it's being read as, not flavor text. But it is just flavor. It's an easy change. It has not been rewarded, no. I don't even know where that's from. Probably Quagoth, the bear people.
Yes, it was from Quagoth, the bear people. It was one. Swear I saw them as being large at one point, and I know that you've ran Quagoth as being a large creature before, which is maybe where my head got it.
Yeah,
because I know what's his face.
I think they're
just blew
powerful
up.
build. Yeah, I think that's why
They are
it's-
powerful
yeah.
build.
Duke, I believe if an embassy is going to be kidnapped, they would be let known beforehand if it's a civ, because obviously they can't do anything.
Yeah.
You have
Well,
to
Ish.
first kidnap them in RP.
Yeah.
You just can't say you are now kidnapped.
Yes.
Please
Yeah.
don't resist.
Yeah.
If it is a GM saying, "Hey, I need a civilian for a mission kidnap mission," get consent. If it is an event that happens to kidnap them and they made checks to avoid getting kidnapped and it failed, that's on.
part of just
Yeah, it's
being
part
a-
of being a living world. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's like, hey, I would like a civilian to be a potential kidnap victim, any takers? Yeah, as long as they give consent, you're good to go. Just don't, kill them off screen.
Yeah, my whole problem with it, Duke, was I get very uncomfortable when it comes to if a civilian dies on that mission, for instance, because the adventurers took too long for that, because the amount of spite that can come from that, not that it would, but not having control over your own character's death is something that just feels really bad in pretty much any system, which is why Power Word Kill is one of the most hated spells in existence, because no one just likes to hear, oh, you're dead, there's nothing you can do.
Oh, it doesn't have to be a civ either. A player can be chosen for kidnapping.
Yeah.
But if a DM wants to have another player be the kidnap victim, or if another player is a kidnap victim through other events, 1, get their assent. 2, do not kill them off screen. 3, if there is a time limit for them to just die, 1, let the player know beforehand before you kidnap them. 2, give them a chance to escape. And 3, probably avoid doing that, but if it is a chance, give them multiple chances to escape, because essentially you're giving them a save or die by having them join the mission. So, if you are doing the kill it off screen option. If you're not doing that, then it's fine. So, just be careful of time limits and kidnap victims and whatnot. And obviously, a civil adventuring player would have a better chance of escaping than a civilian would.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure most civilians just want to be a part of games.
Yeah, if a civilian wants to join a game,
Sure.
and a GM's got a civilian slot, yeah, no issue. I probably will be having more civilian slots in any games I run in the future in High Shade, just because it's a known town at that point, and players might actually physically be in the town when I run the game. So. Yeah, if they don't want risk, they can not consent and stay down. Any civilian mission should be a. You can sign up to this if you like.
Yeah, which does bring up a good point. Like, if you're gonna do this, you need to like warn people and give explicit things of like, hey, look, if your character dies, you're a civilian. You're not exactly up the creme de la creme and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You may die, which means you need to accept this.
Yes. Like
just like a player joining a game and they're dying, they can't really bitch. You went on an adventure that has a chance of death every day, so.
Oh yeah. If they're on a mission that they are like an active participant in, 100% give them XP. I'd give them a full milestone, to be honest. But like, if, for example, using the players fail to save them, I would give them the option again to try to escape the mission. And if that fails, if it's like a cultist or trying to sacrifice them, obviously they're gonna fucking die. If they fail their escape check. If it is like a bandit trying to, ransom up the merchant for some money, just, maybe offer a ransom to the players to pay it off. Or give them another escape attempt whenever we drop downtime. Or not downtime, whenever we, pass a week. Yeah. Or if there's a civilian doing investigations on slavers in RP, maybe they find something out about it. Just, we can work with it. We can work with things. Yeah. But, like, any character in the world, civilian or otherwise, technically could die. We have things to hopefully prevent this. So if, like, someone is trying to, like, randomly attack a civilian on the road, guards exist. Roads are patrolled. It's not going to be a guaranteed instant gib. And if it is, well, there's doctors for that. And if it is like in the middle of the wilds, well, that's a little bit of a different question. If you're a civilian in the middle of the wilds, you're kind of going into the wilds on purpose, and that seems like a mistake. They're dangerous. I'm talking like Dolder wilds at this point, or Bruja wilds. Alderia is a little bit different, but like any of our regions, the wilderness, anything that's not civilized terrain, it's dangerous. You can get eaten by a wolf or a weird, horrible monstrosity from Dolder. Either which way, you're probably gonna die, civilian, if you go off-road.
You should totally walk off the road. We've only had to use the chart twice so far.
Yeah. I did that.
It's definitely something that we should be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as it's made clear that you are willingly putting yourself in danger as a civilian by going on missions, then even if they do get mad, it's just them getting mad that their character died. It's not because we did something fucking wrong.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean it could happen, but civilians
Yeah,
also have death
yeah.
save, so I mean they could potentially survive a fireball. Now, if it was a random NPC person that I had kidnapped, yeah, no, they don't have death saves.
Oh,
Unless it's a named NPC, in which case they do, but massive damage rolls apply to them. So, either which way.
mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, in a game I was running like a couple weeks back, or a couple months back, there's these people who my players locked into a side room, so they set up an explosion at the door, and one of my random 4 HP civilians was in the area, and when the explosion went off, they got fucking blasted by it and killed. They didn't know the NPC was there, but it did happen, and it was like, yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, no, if a civilian goes in combat, like actually starts attacking, they probably will be attacked back. They might not be lethally attacked, because, I mean, they kidnapped them for a reason.
Mhm.
But, yeah, if you start full on attacking, you are a combat threat at this point. Same rule with like familiars. If your familiar's just sitting on your shoulder, I'm not gonna be targeted. But if they actually start flying in to attack people or flying in to help action people, they're a combat threat. So,
Yeah, just give them an out of character warning.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Before that,
Pretty much. That's all that there is to it.
It's it's the same warning we give adventurers when they're, they decide, well, maybe I want to fight the level 15 dragon, and we go, well, are you sure? Like, Lament, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, it's true.
Type of thing.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. And if they say yes, you go, well, you're about to learn today.
That particular suggestion has already been discussed multiple times. I imagine there's one of the many who have been saying remove intelligence as the default for all tools, so we can have other options. And the answer is, meow.
Yeah, there. As we pointed out, you can't have the best of both worlds. You have to build for one or the other.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people suggesting tools to be essentially whatever attribute works best for them. There's obviously some suggestions that are more like whatever makes most sense. Just like let us choose. But essentially, I've already been working on this one. The equipment guide lists 2 different attributes that you can use. One will always be intelligence, and one will be whatever is most appropriate. And there might not even be a second option. So, like, if there's like no other attribute, the only one that really makes sense is intelligence, then it'll just be intelligence. But there might be two options now. But that's the only real change that we've done with that.
To kind of
yes.
piggyback on that discussion, I don't think we should revert our changes to half feats.
What about half feats?
Discussion and suggestion box that was also along these lines of allow half feats.
Oh yeah, no. There might be like 1 half feat or maybe 2 half feats that I'll add in the future, but every half feat, other than these new additions, which are very specifically half feats, are being removed.
And just on that general thing, I'm somewhat getting tired of suggestion boxes that are just give me a buff.
I don't mind them fully. Like that, if I keep seeing the same one over and over again by the same people, I'll probably get a little annoyed by that. But a lot of them are basically, in my mind, saying, "Please look at this," whether it's not in like fully forthright intentions. It doesn't really matter to me. What matters is they want me to look at something. I'm going to look at it. If I agree with it needing to be changed, I'll change it. Whether that's a buff or a nerf.
It's also a good time to explain the reasoning behind whatever the current ruling is, too.
Yes.
Like for instance, like with the tools, like that was a very good option to say this is why it's defaulted to int in case you're curious.
Well-
because we have
well-
this, because we have this, because we have this. Whether or not they listen to it,
Well,
that-
the
that's
problem
another
is,
story.
well, the problem is, we explained that to them 3 times, the exact reason of why it was that way, and they still didn't accept it.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like that's not the point of it. The point of it is to at least be forthright and understanding of, hey, this is why we have it that way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily we're going to change it because we think you're right or because we think we're wrong, but this is why it is the way it is currently.
Yeah, essentially, I don't want to deny suggestions just because they are wanting power. Because even if their reasoning behind the suggestion is not exactly good intentions, it's still enough of a reason to at least give a glance at it. If they've done a suggestion even after we've given our reasons, and it's been like months of us being like, this is what the rule is, and they're still suggesting it, even after we've told them multiple times, it's been decided that there's no change happening here, then yeah, you'd probably be like, it's enough, man, my dude. We've discussed this like 3 months now. The decision has been made. But other than that, if you want to talk about power wanting and whatnot, I don't mind it. And if you guys are getting like a little frustrated at it, just let them know that it is what it is. And if they keep bitching, then you can either ignore it or shut that shit down. But I would also just wait for me to do some of the suggestions, because I don't really mind reading the please give me power.
I mean, some are like valid, right? Like some are valid ones to look at and do it. Others are just they're trying to do both, and frankly, you're not going to get both.
Ultimately, though, it's not too much of an issue for me. So, for the World Anvil page, yeah, it's easy clap. I'll add that. Number 4-6.
My stance is that it's what the channel exists for. If it gets spammy, we can deal with it individually, but we're not required to respond to every single one, especially not the ones that have already been explained.
And if it's already been explained, just refer them to the previous explanation. Because we have had a lot of people give suggestions of, like, what does this do? And they're like, I've already explained it about 50 times now. So, and I know if you guys actually like check pins or make sure you do a control F in chat before you're asking your suggestion. So, yeah, that's fine. In terms of Blasora's post,
ultimately another reason why we'll need to eventually get stuff into a Google Doc Flash FAQ.
Yes. I'll have to look at the homebrew suggestions thing in the archives, because I don't know what they're referring to. If they post that in suggestion box or living roll questions, I can give it another look, but I'll have to look at our archive list to see what that actually says, because it doesn't sound familiar to me. Homebrew submission form.
We have one of those?
We have. It's pretty fucking old.
Yeah,
It's like 3
It's
years
almost a
old.
year old.
Yeah.
No, we did that like when the server started migrating. That was really
Yeah.
like at least 2 years.
It's super fucking old. I'll have to look to see if we
I don't even know where it's.
I don't know where I put it. It might be in the Living World, the old Living Worlds
let me check
archive.
the agenda.
Yeah.
I'm a real. I think some of those were stuff we could use.
Nice.
Other stuff was
There were some cool races that
Oh,
got
yeah,
added.
there's some really
Yeah,
spicy
yeah.
stuff in there. I
Yeah.
actually forgot about it, so if I can get the link, if you can post it, so I don't have to find it, it'd be much appreciated. Because a lot of the feats, and there's actually a decent number of item qualities that I added from the suggestion.
No.
Thank you very much. So,
I think there are quite a few like fighter subclasses and stuff too that could be usable or unlocked.
Who made the Herald class, by the way? I don't remember that off the top of my head.
Han did.
All right, excellent. Probably be getting with them so we can discuss like buffing it for Syrik.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it works. I didn't change it because it works as a base 5e class, but for Syrik it is underpowered. Yeah. Hopefully, with the changes I just did for Alchemist, that should help Alchemist feel a bit better because they now go against touch AC, using thrown weapons against allies goes against the AC of the square you're attacking rather than the allies. So you're not hitting like an AC 22. You're now hitting like an AC 10. If you're using Smear on an ally, it's an auto hit. Yeah.
We're always open to improve.
Mm-hmm.
We're not as reliant on NERP's storylines to unlock things, and player explorations are more specific things. General global or optional rules or things that just fit well into regions can constantly be added, whether from player suggestions, GM suggestions, or the region head's world building more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like players have seen that their actions are starting to have in-game effects, so that was something that didn't happen in the past.
Alright, are you all ready for the big balance times?
I think before we do that, anything anyone else would like to bring up? Any questions to add? Anything to discuss? Outside of balance. All right. I think we're good for balance then. Yeah. That one's probably an over nerf. But I also have a item quality that gives an additional die of damage and can reduce the penalty from 5 to 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sharpshooter kind of took a straight bullet there.
Yeah. There's also the other benefit that I have for that particular thing. It was suggested in suggestion box. I remember who did it, but it now can also bypass DR for that particular quality benefit.
Actually, speaking of
Alright, so first as a primer, if you're not already aware, balance discussions happen in threads in the Balance Team channel. All staff have access to there, and you are welcome to contribute, as Balance Team are the ones who do the overall judging and testing, but everyone is welcome to present alternative suggestions and feedback.
Yeah. Currently, Sharpshooter and Great Master are actually a cap of 3d4, so they do more at high levels than they would base.
Yeah, but the problem is, that's a prop 6 because it's half prof skilling. Prop 6 is, I don't see you in 3 years, maybe 5, before we get there, right?
Yeah.
That's basically irrelevant for our balancing, which is my concern. Like, I want to say, like, we should assume that realistically we balance for up to prop 4 as like where we want it, right?
Mm-hmm. We make it a d6. I mean, it would be a d 2 to 12 at that point.
Yeah,
and then be 3 to 18 at the super high levels.
Yeah, it would be d6 might be better there.
I don't think it should be a d8 because that's a little too potent.
No, d8. D8 was like if we overcorrect back the other way.
Yeah.
But then also the thing is we don't exclude it from crits, and crits do happen.
Yes,
so.
that's one of the other things is it's not a clear exclusion, so the d4s will be multiplied.
Yeah. I just think a d6 would be fine. Like, we can adjust that to a d6 so that occasionally it's still better, right?
Yeah, and if you get the weighted property on your weapon, which is a tier 1 effect, you get an additional dice. Mm-hmm. So if you take that property, you can be hitting with 2 to 6 or 2 to 12.
I do have a question about properties and qualities and things.
Yeah.
Is there going to be more stopping you from stacking so much onto your weapons in the future and getting so many bonuses with the new equipment guide?
Most of these bonuses list the type of bonus it is, so it'll be like +1 enhancement bonus, which doesn't stack with other enhancement bonuses.
Okay.
For example, a +1 weapon is an enhancement bonus.
because we do have people who are running around with swords that are like +1, +2.
Yeah.
+1 to hit, +2 to damage, and that's just better than a magic item.
In short, please write out what type of bonuses
Yep,
they are.
I have been. It's in the guide. I've been making sure to do that.
That's going to
Okay.
help because people have been stacking a lot of those bonus damages.
If you ever give a bonus without specifying what type of buff it is, players are going to stack that, and
Yes.
it's going to
They are.
snowball.
It is definitely going to snowball.
Okay, thank you. That was one of my concerns for marshals.
Yeah, it is definitely a concern. It was already being worked on in the new book, because the new book is the one I was adding the type bonuses to.
Mm-hmm.
But the book that's already released, it had some of that in there, but it wasn't really finished, so... I have also added a fuck ton of new quality benefits. A lot of them are tied to Magic users too now, so Magic users should get some love with the update.
Alright, so... Should we get the balance started then?
Yeah, what?
It's also a bit weird since I'm trying to process like whole nerfs that took place in the morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go update those 2 feeds real quick though.
Yeah.
What
I'm trying
order
to
do we
process
want to
the...
go through on topics?
Normally I would have immediately hopped on style, but the main thing was the 2-weapon fighting nerf, mighty marshals being fixed in barbarian. I think the style feats are still probably overtuned, to be honest, but I'm also a little more wary of immediately, oh, that's Axis style feats too right now, right?
My suggestion for style feats right now is monk. This feat requires monk level 3. That's just keeping in mind our feat progressions. So
I would say, for style feats, monk level 1 or player level 5.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, player level 5 helps because some of them.
I am kind of worried though because a lot of people took the style feats already, so this is going to be a lot of.
It will be a lot of.
There are 2
nerf,
people who took style feats for crane style shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, are there only 2 players? I'm sorry to them. You get a new feat, pick whatever the fuck you want. But
but
another option I was thinking about it. Just I know this. People have been just saying just add a level cap to it. One of the other options I was thinking, which would allow people to still use them, who are not monks, would be monks get all the benefits of the feat. If you're not a monk, the different individual features are level capped. So like you might be able to choose one of the bullet points as level 1, 2 of them level 5, 3 of them level 7, or something like that.
There's that, but I think overall though we did point out that this thing is, even if we cap it to monk, right now some style feats just give free damage, which is kind of a why are we giving this much free damage?
My concerns are boars free damage, cranes dodge shenanigans, and then snake or serpents just free disarm on each attack.
Then I believe we ran like the monk DPR. The main problem is right now, even if we locked it to only monk is ironically one of like the worst people to use the style feats right now, mostly because due to the natural weapons cheese. But even with that, they are still in like the I'm attacking at level 2. I'm attacking what was this chart? 20 AC target, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing 38 DPR.
Well, that's
against a fully armored target.
That's assuming a strength monk with mighty martial.
Which we took away.
Oh, that's probably going to be happening,
Marshall,
Guji. I just need to update.
To be fair though, we need to probably update like all these charts, but yeah, it's basically monk is. This will just tip the balance. Oh, monks are the best martial class now, which we want monk to be good. We don't want it to be high. We don't want it to be the next barbarian, I guess. Is the basic.
I think monk 3 or level 5, I think is a good restriction. And also potentially doing an errata where natural weapons can't be unarmed.
I wouldn't even go level 3. I would just go level 4. Because at that way.
I'm just thinking of our feat progression. It gets really awkward where a traditionally mad class is having to choose this feat. A level 4 or spend downtime days to change their level 3 feat.
I mean, I think that's fine though, right? In my opinion, that would be fine because it's if we want to keep style feats at the current power level, I would actually welcome the more awkward level for it because that way you're at least sacrificing opportunity cost for like maybe an ASI or something to actually get that. But
So you're suggesting like level 4, and so in between 3 and 5.
Monk can take this at level 1. Other characters you take it's a level 4, maybe a level 4 instead. That way, because the thing is, I don't think we're actually going to be writing content for level 5 right now. But this way, this is like a capstone people can work towards as a non-monk instead.
I mean, the
right?
current level cap is 5th, but yeah.
The current level cap is 5th, but
It's gonna be a bit before we get there.
Yeah, but the thing is, even with the old stuff, right? Like the moment people hit max level, if you're going on a mission, it's literally only for loot or because I need to do something to help save the world. Most people stop taking that risk.
Yeah, at least with the other changes, I'm less worried. I still think unarmed and natural attack should be separate things, but just because you can get a D10.
I mean,
out
yes.
of the gate.
I mean, yeah. From a balance standpoint, yes. From how does if a rap I'm going to use the dinosaur example, aren't I? If a raptor wants to be a monk, right? They're not going to just use their tiny little hands. They're going to use stuff like their tail, their teeth, and whatever in their martial arts.
Yeah? All right. What do you think about this change for Boar style replacing Rend?
I don't think Rend is the issue, to be honest. I think it was just literally if you take this feat, you get 1d4 damage. That's my more my issue.
I mean, it's on unarmed attacks.
Well, the main reason for the additional d4 damage, like pretty much all those have, is so people who are not monks can take these feats and punch for d4 plus 1 instead of being fucking sad and having a 1 point damage on unarmed stacks.
And
I think that I think that was
partly supposed to be for you aren't getting bonuses from the equipment guide if you're punching.
Okay, in that case, I have an alternative proposal. That 1d4 is literally only if you make an unarmed attack and it doesn't attach natural weapons. Because right now people are going, oh, I'm going to take a natural weapon, then add that 1d4 to it.
All right.
That's the bigger issue right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a good change for Boar. It does give them something to do with their bonus action.
Something to think about in the future, though, with the natural weapons and such. This could be, well, I agree that with the natural weapons currently, they're probably not great to be used for Boar, but Druids, thinking about that in the future.
Can you actually benefit from style feats while you're in? No, you can. You can keep your concentration on spells and stuff. Potentially. Yeah. Okay. We can leave that.
Which helps out Druid a lot.
All right, we can leave that damage, especially if it's bumped up. If it's like at level 3, 4, 5, or whatever, that say the cat person was pounced on their bonus action gets the extra 1d4 on their claw.
All right. How does this look? For the rewording of the base.
What's the change?
So the big difference here is the wording before was anytime this feat says unarmed strike, those weapon type or attack types counts as unarmed strikes. This now just says this feat works with these features. You're considered to be in this style when you're attacking with these features, but that means that if I say something like this, that only applies to unarmed strikes, even if you're in this stance.
Okay, so you're taking out the special part at the end and changing it to this, or
and
just because my concern about taking out that special part is some of the effects are supposed to pop off from using a weapon like a Kensei monk, like the dragon style crit.
Yeah. So you'll see. Let me just post this again real quick. The wording change I'll be saying, instead of whenever you make an unarmed strike, for those that will apply, we'll say whenever you make an attack with a boar style attack.
Yeah. So basically, okay, I agree with that because now this makes a lot more sense for like the design standpoint. So basically, anything that's unarmed strike only, we'll just do unarmed strike only, right?
Yes.
So like, well, we can do that. But then for the boar style attack, that's the stuff like, oh, my natural weapons, my monk weapons, whatever can all apply, which is good. We can just do that. We revise our wording and how we design that, and then we just go from that. And that actually is okay because a normal person's unarmed strike is absolute garbage. The extra 1d4 just makes it an actual weapon.
Yeah, that was something I was struggling with when I was trying to work on them, was trying to preserve the rest of the feats while keeping the extra die off of weapons and other shenanigans.
Yeah. My 1d10 bite does not need an extra 1d4 damage for just being a bite. And I'm sorry, how do you bite harder than a greatsword? I'm still kind of annoyed at that. Fucking 19 damage bite for free. Take a bite out of crime. Oh, you bite them extra hard. Oh my god. I'm gonna mute myself to scream a bit.
I'm sure Taco would be able to tell you how a bite hurts more from a dinosaur.
100%.
All right.
I mean,
I also saw people suggesting Pathfinder 2e styles. I haven't looked at them, so I might be adding more style feats, but that's later on. But they will be taking the same concept.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me see the balance threads. What we have. Barbarian discussion. Barbarian discussion, no resistance. I think we already covered that.
Yeah, the changes NERP did this afternoon before the meeting pretty much cemented in exactly what we want to do. Plus the Fury change solved the other issue.
Okay. Real fast. Did we actually? Is overexertion still on combat by default? Which after the nerf, it's probably not as bad, but still, is it on in default by default in combat?
By default, it is available in combat. Yes.
Okay, we're going to stay with that design.
And we can adjust it if people want to, but I think there are certain times in combat, even in like a random encounter combat, where it will start changing drastically against them, and they will want to use that. And if you don't have that trait that you're suggesting, which I think the trait could work well, it's going to be an issue.
I was going to say the trait would be just be the this is automatically on. You know it's on, right?
Yeah. Yes. The thing we came up with was it's not on by default, but if a fight goes south, like say like a player dies or half the team is starting to get knocked down,
I can see that.
They can do the essential anime moment of I'm gonna overexert myself to try and save the day by DM's discretion of how this fight is swinging, not the player's choice, because we don't want to run into a thing where the players go, well, I'm going to overexert myself 9 times because fuck it, why not?
I mean, yeah, that's what happened. I got a haste action attack 9 times, and then people got 2 levels of exhaustion from it.
I think this is my opinion anyway. Obviously, it's not the thing. I think we should make overexertion the way we did called shots, where it's a boss mechanic, and then in the subtext of it, if a fight is going south, and I mean like south, where there's a chance of a TPK, then the DM can enact overexertion as the clash moment, the anime moment, so the DM can throw them a bone.
Yeah, I think a combination. We add the trait as an option.
Yeah.
We have it marked as this applies during these particular things. Otherwise, it at GM discretion.
Yeah. Also, in terms of the trait, I would actually do this for it. The trait can be actually a quote-unquote negative cost in the traits, because that way it's like, okay, the players have this overexertion, so you're allowed to put like slightly more traits into your design, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Actually, I'd even go further. And since we sort of buffed it a little bit, nerfed exertion, like the exhaustion a bit, maybe if that trait is active, you drop like the exhaustion to a 1d2 instead of a 1d3, I guess, so that they can use it slightly more.
I can see that.
I like the mechanic of overexertion. I just don't feel that it should be.
I don't want it always on.
Yeah, like I feel like it should go the route of Clash, where it's only going to happen a certain amount of times. It's not a constant thing because it can get ridiculous and
people can build around it. And
yeah, I just feel what we brought up is a good middle ground to that.
I mean,
anti-exhaustion build.
I mean, Ironing Friday was originally built around abusing overexertion to eventually quicken fireballs and shit. So, yeah, no, I totally get around building around it.
Yeah.
I just never got to the point.
But that's obviously our opinion. It's not a set in stone thing, so we can.
I mean, well, this is something we'll probably have to like test.
Yeah.
And, test and just try out. Like, the thing is, I now have a lot more to try out and test, so that's fine.
So I don't know. It's up to what you feel is appropriate.
Yeah. I think that's fine though. Other balance.
Though, to be fair, right? Like a lot of the stuff that we had thought was going to work, we also brought up in a time when we were still setting up the server to open, right? So we never had time to be like, hey, can someone run this game with this stuff until more or less now. So all of this stuff was par for the course to happen at some point. We just didn't know when.
It's true. It's true.
So the fact we're getting it out now is actually really good.
Just we need to make sure all these things are in patch notes. Not everyone's checking those in. I think we need a rule where if you didn't do a change and you need to do a change, you just don't get any benefits in that mission you were on when the DM points out, hey, you don't have crane style anymore. You didn't change.
Yeah.
And for that mission, that session, you just don't have that feat slot filled. Then after the session, you go to character updates, ping lorekeeper, hey, I can't take crane style anymore. I want +2 con or something.
They can switch it. I mean, just give them a free rebuild. To be honest.
Yeah, we are. We've already.
I mean, if they are mid combat in that, I don't think
for players who just are kind of checked out and aren't paying attention, or trying to kind of be legacy builds.
Sharpshooter is being changed to D6, yeah.
Because I know there's at least 2 players that aren't going to be able to take crane style anymore.
Yeah, I'm aware. And then it's just give them a free heads up. If they don't get the free heads up, well, hopefully it's ping them to just switch it.
Like there are a lot of people that we've seen that are just not looking at updates, are not looking at the VODs, are not looking at the patch notes. They're just kind of checked out.
Yeah.
Which look, if you didn't check them, that's on you. That's not on us. We did the work. You didn't meet us halfway.
Alright, Dragon Style's not updated. Working on Dragonfly. Reading chat real quick before I do that, actually. Yeah, Sharpshooter and Great Master have already been changed to D6s on the feat listing.
Okay, good.
The only reason I say that is because on the World Anvil updates, only Great Weapon Master came up.
Oh, maybe I didn't touch Sharpshooter yet. Yeah, no, I didn't. Apparently, I haven't. No, it is updated. That's weird. I'll just same ping.
That is very weird.
Updated to be D6s.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, everything on the World Anvil update legacy that you're seeing, like all those pops that are popping up right now, those are all the changes. Every single one. I'm typing a little World Anvil thing listing what's being changed, so you can just copy pasta what's listed there.
Mm-hmm.
It should help out a lot. You don't have to, you don't have to type. You don't have to do it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's still a concern that 2-weapon fighting, that's Great Weapon Master now might be the new too strong, but at least it's a feet tax. We'll see.
Well,
If it's
yeah.
still too strong. If it's still too strong, we'll adjust it.
Like at least now, right? You have to take the hit that you're giving up that feat to go to this, right?
Yeah.
So now they're taking a tax, and it's not just out the gate. I have this. Which
It doesn't say that you can switch into the style out of combat. I mean, that's just pre-round buffing and stuff. I don't care. Do we have to tell them that you can't switch into stances out of combat?
I don't think that's an issue.
I think it's fine just to let people start a fight in a style.
They've been in the style. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if people think it needs to be nerfed where you have to spend your bonus action at the beginning of combat to do it, then
No.
I've always been like, you can always have this style active as long as you're not like asleep or something like that.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Also, we've been throwing out stuff that's allowing you to bonus action more. If you're complaining about not having to use your bonus action, dude, we've been catering to that for the last year and a half. Like, I'm sorry.
But my thoughts on the starting, like, just having your stance active is, like, if anyone tries to punch, like, Bruce Lee or, like, Jackie Chan or Ip Man, I don't remember the actual actors, Donnie Yen, I think.
Yeah,
they're gonna fucking use their style. They know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you might, if they're surprised, maybe not. And, like, I can see a DM be like, you're surprised you don't have it active. But that's the only thing.
I feel like that would still be kind of a dick move, because it's like, the point of learning martial arts is you're ready for that type of confrontation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the good thing about surprise is that you don't have to worry about reactions or anything like that, so it doesn't really matter if they have their style active, because they can't do anything.
Yeah.
No one gets a buff round. Surprise rounds only.
Yeah, my general thing is, like, if it lasts a minute or less, you have to spend time in the combat to actually use that buff. But if it's 10 minutes, fine.
But like a good thing about it is, like, the past 3 days we spent going over this stuff, we actually knocked it out before the meeting, and it saved us a lot of trouble.
It saved us a lot of trouble.
Yeah, like the
I have some concerns that Great Weapon Master might be a bit too bloated right now, but we'll see.
We can fix that.
Yeah.
We can fix that. I can incur. I'll run one more stress test at least this week. This time it'll be versus what I think I said it'll be level 5 versus a level 7/9 boss. Theoretically, this should be a very close, or they are all dead fight, because level 5 shouldn't be able to really beat a level 9, right? That was not what's been happening in the previous stress tests. So,
are we good on style feats, or did we want to? Or are we still like?
Hold off on nerfs until we see how everything else has changed. We don't want to overtune.
Yeah.
Serpent style. I think there needs to be some thing to tell you what your maneuver DC is there, unless it should just default to what the fighter says.
Probably right now at DC there. I say free disarm seems like really strong, but also you have to remember not every creature or enemy uses a weapon.
Yeah.
Right.
Free
people
trip every.
People look at jabbing style real quick, because I feel like this is probably one you guys want to look at.
Yeah, it's the extra D6. I would say
So
the
I
D4 damage would get upgraded to D6.
Yeah, I changed the D4 to D6 and I changed the D6 to D4. I also made the D4 viable on jabbing style attacks.
Hold on.
So that is as a question there.
I think, just given the flavor of this style, it should just be unarmed.
Unarmed for that one too. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it just seems like the punch.
It is the punch monk, yeah. With that needs to be changed to jabbing style though.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, maybe down the line we can add like more natural weapon support. But the fact is, at tier 1, natural weapons are fucking insane.
Yeah. But the higher up we go, the
higher up we go, the less it's going to matter.
because
people are doing crazy shit anyway.
Now, I will say
we-
the jabbing style real quick. There might be a reason to actually have the D4 work on jabbing style attacks. Because jabbing style would also be the style one would use for like nunchuck builds or brass knuckle builds and things of that nature, which won't actually work unless you allow it to work with monk weapons.
Maybe we can do that. Or we could. I hate doing this, but maybe we could add a second feat chain down the road. It's another tax. I don't like taxes, but we could just put a tax that lets you apply something else extra to a style. Actually, maybe that's not that bad of an idea, because that way, even if you take style feat 1 and then you go start like level 3, you do feat. If you're investing that many feats, fine. You invested 3 feats.
Yeah, and this is a very mad class. Feat taxes are a lot on them.
All right.
Exactly.
Refresh the jabbing style page. See what you guys think.
Which window did that go to? God, I have too many tabs open. Jabbing style.
Yeah, I think that's fine. It does put a lot of emphasis on keep hitting, and if you don't hit, you lose a lot of damage.
Yeah.
All right. Monkey style now. I'm just going down
Monkey style really feels the weakest out of all of them.
I'm gonna take a look. You make an armor strike using those. You do a 1d4. Creatures do not receive advantage attack rolls against while they are within 5 feet of you due to you suffering. Can we just make that into you don't provoke from being prone? I'm going to be honest.
I'll add both.
I forgot the wording on this from the last time I saw it, and I just keep thinking someone prone, like crab walking away from the enemy. Just like, ha! You can't hit me.
I mean, I think that is supposed to be like part of this. Like, you are crab
Well,
walking out.
yeah.
That's like a martial arts thing.
They're just crab walking away from the enemy, like, you can't attack me.
Okay, you're not provoking.
Terrifying.
There we go. That's the main thing. Admittedly, that's my own design's fault, but it was like I have stuff that's based on whether or not you're prone, right? I don't care about the advantage, but yeah, no, I'm elbow dropping you into a stun, but somehow while you're standing up, you get stunned, but now you're standing up and stunned, even though the idea was I smashed you so hard into the ground that you can't get back up. But now instead, I bopped you on the head and now you're dizzy.
All right. Are there other things you think needs buffing, or just the don't provoke from reaction attacks and standing?
Honestly,
I think that's fine at that point.
I think
that one's pretty huge.
That alone,
so
that alone is just like, oh, thank God I don't have to. I am prone is a lot less scary to me, and prone is a very common condition. So it's like, yeah.
All right. Next one on the list is Panther style.
Prone is also scary in Syrik, so
it is.
Which
I mean,
means,
yes, good.
Right, which means now we won't have people going, I go prone, so the range attacks to disadvantage. No, good sir. I'm going to walk up and kick you in the dick now at advantage.
I mean, with movement speed increases, that is a real threat.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, I did like that utility because it was something that people forgot.
Yeah.
But it was also being over-abused by anybody who played this.
Like, it's okay if it happens like every now and then, right? Like, oh, I go prone because this. Not, I go prone because I'm going to abuse it.
No, dude, people were doing, I ended up my turn, what else could, I drop prone. And I'm like, okay, you cheeky fuck.
No. You don't go prone, you bonus action cry because the monster's about to hit you.
To be fair, like, if there's, like, an army shooting at you and stuff, going prone is valid,
like
right?
a ranged fight where you're fighting against a ranged character and you're a ranged character yourself and you're just kind of dropping prone.
I mean, that's basically simulating a shootout.
Yeah, it's like a sniper fight.
Yeah.
Except, you don't have a 50 cal, you have bows.
Oh no, some of these people can get 50 cals.
Yeah. I know, but that's not gonna be for a while.
Can you move your stress test to level 6? No, that's not the point of the stress test.
I'll stick to my ass.
No, it's test out builds.
I mean, yeah, you want to test out builds, but we're not even there in the tier yet. We need to get the balance for level 1 to 5 corrected.
I mean, if you run a test game at level 8, I'll totally go as Barb Warlock.
Yeah, by the way, if people were wondering why I did not nerf the extra D4 or a Barb dice on unarmed strikes for Barbarian, I still want Barbarians to be viable as a Monk Barbarian combo wombo build.
That's fine.
I think the changes we did for Barb to make like certain things have low levels and stuff actually is good.
Yeah.
Because now we have a good range of you have decent stuff to take at 1, 3, 5, and and so on. It's not like, oh well, all the good stuff is here and we're kind of love for scraps.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Also, it's probably a good thing I'm not DMing tonight because my stutter's going fucking mad today.
Binder is a cool concept. But I think this light thing is living in a living world. In like the private game where Sky played it, right? We had like the RP consequences for like failing and buying stuff. They do show up, right?
Yeah.
And they do matter. In a living world setup, in your average mission that might be more and more combat focused,
Welcome back.
People might not care as much. I think that's part of why Binder. People are kind of like, well, Binder is free. It's not meant to be free. It's just RP consequences, and not everybody RPs.
Yeah, with us like having more like RP in the servers and having more statics, right? The Binder's probably going to shine more now. It's just in a pickup game, it's not going to shine, but in RP and text and in statics, it'll actually shine.
One of the big things with Binder, being that it is a packed magic class, any area, region, people who view apostates, heretics, black magic, anything of that nature, they are the class of that. Like, they are worse than Warlock. Warlock is like, I might have a pact with a devil, I might have a pact with a celestial. Who knows? They are binding things that should not be bound.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a reason why people have been RPing, doing it in corners, doing it in alleyways, doing it in places where people can't see them. Because if, like, an Inquisitor sees this shit, like Inquisitor of Nepalis...
purge.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
purging.
time for a crusade.
Dude, you're walking up to like a patron, handcuffing your handcuff to them and going, "Hi," and hoping they're not gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always gonna be bad. Like Perugia might not have certain rules against it, but I'm sure Eldiria probably has issues with binders.
If you're in Karstein doing it, there's going to be issues, but that's just because Karstein's.
Yeah, it's a Perugia, Eldiria city.
Yeah.
No, we'll see. We'll see how bad like the builds get. Level 5 is our capstone, so
yeah,
which is fine. It'll probably still allow like some of the current stuff. I might have to run like another game back at level 1 to 2 again, just in case. But I also am starting other stuff the week after, like not the coming week, but next week. So I might have less time for that.
Mighty Marshal getting moved to a feat. It's going to help push down a lot of the damage, but I'm still worried about it being in a feat.
I am. If needed, we can either branch it out further, like split Mighty Marshal into its own feat with a level cap. We could do that because again, Mighty Marshal at level. The main problem was Mighty Marshal at level 1, 2, 3. This 1, 2, 3 range, right? Or maybe even 4. But honestly, at level 5 plus, well, no,
it helps
plus.
balance things out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just make Mighty Marshal a feat that requires Great Weapon Master first.
Yeah, but I don't know about like a feat chain.
What?
Type of deal.
There's also some awkwardness on strength 2-weapon fighting builds taking Great Weapon Master.
Yeah.
Though I guess Great Weapon Master doesn't actually require heavy.
No, it just requires you to have a tuned weapon.
It does not. Right now, the new version just has a melee martial attack.
Yep, it's any attack now.
So it's not as awkward as I thought it was.
It's now power attack, essentially.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, Nerp, that's not exactly a good thing, because power attack wasn't a mandatory feat for any martial build. That is kind of worrying. I don't like that comparison.
Not a mandatory.
Yeah, we can make it part of a cheat.
Alright.
I almost never took power attack when I played Pathfinder.
Yeah, true, but the thing is, I believe that you're not always just looking to do damage. But
That's
the
fair.
thing is, power attack was if you want to do any meaningful damage, you take power attack, right? Yeah. That's just how that was. And then you have your.
Well, I also think
stack buffs.
There's all these different options that you can take that do damage bonuses that it's not really required. You can do it. It's nice. It's not needed.
Yeah.
If you want to like fucking jam up the juices and just go full ham on damage boosts, yeah, I'll take it. But it's not a feat tax. It is more of a feat option among the damage feat options.
Well, okay, like
yes-ish.
Like as you pointed out before, which when like we were talking about going to 4, and people wanting to take stats. This is kind of one of those things where like if people want to be that guy and just be the one-trick pony damage person, this is their thing. Like you have to take that tax. You are being that guy.
You give up the opportunity cost for like taking more utility and stuff.
Right.
So
that's like this works though because now they have to be the feat tax. Otherwise, just don't take it and be the guy that takes chef and be like, "Hey, I rage cook."
Or it stops from being good frontliner who takes an ult to keep the enemies from just
all the stealth feats have been updated now.
Pushing down.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure that it is actually designed, because I will be honest, the only other thing that bothered me about like the damage, besides like balancing issues, was literally these guys are doing the damage on top of what they can normally do utility wise. Because I was told, hey, I can also still heal party members first and do like maneuvers and shit. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Regarding your post, Gucci, about it feeling more feat taxing, I can see that, but I also can see like a paladin. they can shit out damage like none other. A fighter, a ranger, can do the same, even without this feat. So those who do shit damage, they might not want to take it. They might not need to take it. Someone who is like a bard, who is maybe doing like a D8 plus 3, they might want to take this feat, so they can actually be on par damage-wise with those who just shit damage. So I can see it being a feat tax, but I can also see it being it's not really required. Like for my build, like I could take it. It boosts me by another like +2, but that's a feat. It gives me a +2 to damage. When I can take another feat that gives me the ability to, I don't know, take a dodge action and take a punch to anyone who attacks me.
Or take Sentinel to stop the enemy
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
using step action and rushing down your allies.
Yeah, it's now something that's on the table as an option rather than something that you'd be like, yeah, these other feats are better.
I'm reading through the changes to Panther, and I just think counter revolution. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I understand how this works, but I just think of the robot chicken thing of counter revolution.
Counter. Yeah. Good stuff. What's next on the docket? Anything else I need to update?
You already did 2-weapon fighting.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
what do we want to do with dual or
oh yeah,
I guess I'm
feat for dual wielder.
or I should say I guess I'm slightly confused on the wording. For me anyway, is it implying that you can have that you need 2 light weapons, or can you have like a rapier in one hand and the dagger in the offhand?
Which portion of this is the confusion?
Your second one. The rapier, then you can offhand attack with a dagger.
Yeah.
Right. So it's both 2 light hands, and as long as it's not a long sword and a dagger,
you can do a long sword dagger.
Correct.
Long sword.
Oh, okay. Now I see. That's why
you
I'm
just can't.
confused.
You can't do a longsword specifically.
Longsword just needs to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it can't have versatility, but it
can be one-handed.
Right.
If it has versatility, it just needs to be fine.
Okay.
And if you want to use that with your offhand, though, the offhand has to be light or fine.
Right.
So if you're wanting to use like 2 fine longswords, you could do that.
Okay.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of dual wielder if you can just buy?
Dual wielder is being updated.
Okay.
Yeah, dual wielder is being updated.
Okay, so if someone wants to build into dual wielder and they spend a little extra money, they can pop out like level 1 and be like, hey, I have 2 long swords, 2 battle axes, type of thing.
Wait, wouldn't 2 fine longswords need dual wielder, or do you want fine to enable 2 weapon then?
Fine is a property that I've added in the equipment. I've actually been in there for a while. But it essentially treats a one-handed weapon that normally would not be qualified for light be considered light.
Okay, let me edit that in patch notes.
That makes a lot more sense now, because I was reading it and like I'm sitting there fucking confused as shit about it. So no, that works.
Yeah, let me just post you the wording for the fine property, just so you have it. It's in the old guide too. I don't think I've touched it, but
well, if we're doing that to weapon fighting, plus we're throwing in the thing of you can't like racial BA. You can still do rage, but you have to do rage or hex and stuff first.
Yeah.
What exactly do we want to turn dual wielder into then?
Dual wielder will probably allow a bonus action attack specifically with weapon fighting.
Okay.
So that will allow you to do 1 swing, 2 swing, 3 swing, but you have to have extra attack to do that 3rd swing.
Okay. Do we want to add anything else to that, or do we just want to turn dual wielder into that feat tax of if you want to do this, you're taking this as the feat tax.
I'm probably gonna be doing some other stuff.
Okay.
I do know I want to have multiple feats for 2-weapon fighting builds.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I want to do the full thing there, because I might just be
Right.
like, it'll do something else, and then I'll have another feat. Maybe like 2-weapon flurry, and that one is the one.
Wait, actually now that's confusing me a bit. Give me a SEC to gather my thoughts and ask you about it in text.
Alright.
Okay.
But, I might have 2
mean-
feats. So, like, the second one would be 5th level requirement, and it will allow you, whenever you gain extra attack, you can make a BA attack.
The Panzer Submarine is getting a quick update on attack. I think the 2-weapon fighting already patched that. If it didn't, that's when we patch it, right?
I
Well, I haven't touched the Pathfinder sub-race. I need to touch the races still.
Okay.
the
Let me go do that.
the I believe the two weapon fighting update to make sure to counter to encompassate the Panther thing is already there.
Yeah.
So they can't manhand offhand and then be like, I Panther bite, because you can't do that. You have to either.
So the main thing that Panther's going to be changing is that their bonus action attack is going to be changed to a light weapon property. So their bite is now light, or their claws are now light. I don't remember which one I give them. So they can dual wield, swing with sword, and then make a bite essentially.
Okay, heads up. That's not just the Panzer. The Panzer is just the most obvious example. Apparently, I believe it was Shifter and Dampier could also do something like this.
Shifter and Dampier?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Does Tabaxi have this ability too, or no?
Also, the
No,
shark
Tabaxi has
race.
Tabaxi Sprint.
Okay.
The shark
I believe.
race has it too.
Shark Race, cool. So Shark Race, Shifter, and Dampier. Can I not put sharks in the... Oh, they're probably aquatic.
Yeah,
they're aquatic.
Shogwin.
Swaggin, or Quinion. Or is it Swaggin or Quinion?
Okay.
I'll just grab both just in
Quinion.
case. Alright, then we
Your
have the
mate-
Shifter.
Also, I don't know about Shifter or the other one you were talking about, but my problem with the Panther one currently is that it's resourceless and unlimited use. Or not resourceless, but it's unlimited use at least.
Yes, but is it but does it have an attack roll?
It does, but a lot of the
Yeah,
other
but
bonus
the other
action
ones
races have
limited
uses for
use,
long rest.
yes.
Currently, at least.
Alright.
Also loosely using movement as a resource, which is still fair, but you know.
You move this right and take the attack action, you make a claw attack. It's a bonus action. Additionally... Should I make this additionally, or should I just, mark the cat's claws as a light weapon? So all Volashir can use their claws in offhand if they want. Thoughts?
I don't know. I've stopped building characters myself for a long time. I just mostly run stuff. Whatever doesn't let them spam four attacks at me at level 1, 2.
Gotcha. Essentially, it would just let them be a normal 2-weapon fighting, except for they can use their claw as a 2-weapon fighting weapon. That's the only thing it would do.
So like if they're so the idea is now like it's like a backup if they get disarmed or something, or like they throw one of their weapons at someone.
Yeah.
And then they still go, I can claw your face off. I don't need that weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, Legacy. The intention behind your main hand weapon cannot possess the versatile property unless it also possesses the divine property. Versatile is essentially an almost two-handed weapon. I don't want them to be able to use that for 2-weapon fighting unless it has fine. Because you're essentially almost using a greatsword in one hand.
Do versatiles usually have more base damage?
Yes, like say for example, a longsword is versatile. It means it's a 1d10
if it's wielded
or
two-handed.
Yeah,
but
or
they can also, I believe, in crafting system, can have a higher damage range than normal one-handed. So it's they're essentially partially two-handed weapons, but can be wielded one-handed. So for purposes of two-weapon fighting, they need to be fine to be used in your main hand. That's the reason I had that listed.
So as it
Gotcha.
is,
Yet in base 5e they're not that dangerous one-handed, so I was a bit confused.
yeah.
It was our crafting stuff that makes sense, thanks.
So like right now, like I, for example, could take a scimitar or a rapier and like a dagger. I assume short sword is light. It's been a while.
Yeah, short swords are the light property.
Yeah. So you could be like, I have a rapier and a dagger, and I can do weapon fight without needing fine.
Oh, store man.
I believe the fine cost is what, like 75 gold? Or no, I'm thinking of something else. To a weapon, it's like what, 15, 25 gold? More?
Alright, and then save and push the update out. Let's go look at Quinian now. What was the issue with Quinian? The shark people?
It's Quinian or Hogwin, the shark people that have a bonus action attack.
I'm gonna go look at Schwagen. Let's see here. Schwagen does. Okay. Not Quinian. Quinian's looks fine. Brief glance at least. I can fix this bonus action issue by just simply stating that the claws are considered light. Easy clap.
Yay! Oh. No, that's actually a relief. I was having more dice vomited at me than our old level 12 characters were vomiting at me. It was kind of insane.
Okay, so Gogi posted its subrace Reaver from Quinian.
Reaver, okay, I'll give that one a look in a second. Alright, save and push that out.
Also, double checking for a stress test. We are assuming that by level 5, people will, assuming they get all the optional gold, they'll have like 1,500 gold total, right? Just so I don't overestimate that.
In the book, the updated equipment guide, I do have wealth by level listed. Just get that for you.
Actually, where is the updated book?
I haven't released it yet.
He'll probably have it out.
Alright, just give me that.
Yeah, so you're looking at this. So at level 5th, they have 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 again. So they have 5 additional rolls of wealth, which is probably going to get them maybe about like 75 gold per. And they have additional 800 GP worth of magic items. No one of those items being of higher than excellent rarity. And the enchantment strength being no more than 10. So they can probably have about... That's not even enough to buy a +1 weapon, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
But it's maybe a weapon that does a D4 fire damage. Maybe something that gives them like a +1 on reactionary attacks.
I think what I'll do is give me the maximum of the wealth rolls, because I don't want to actually deal with the magic item stuff, since I don't think we've correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think as a living world we've decided what do we want our magic item balance to be yet. So, for the
It's
purposes of
fairly
testing,
limited.
yeah, for the purposes of testing, I'm not going to include that. I will tell them you can buy consumables or whatever, or
5 times
some sort of
4
equipment guide.
times 10. So if they roll maximum and they're of a tier 5 class, so Artificer, Bard, Cleric, Fighter, Paladin, or Ranger, every wealth roll that they get is a maximum of 200 gold. So that would be 1,000 gold plus 800 GP worth of magic items.
Okay.
So about 1,800. Previously, that was maybe about 300 gold, but I needed to boost it a lot because it was not enough. I had players at level 5 who were rocking like +3 weapon, or not +3 weapons, +1 weapons and like a bag of holding and stuff. And these guys come in and they're like, I have nothing. I have a squirt gun. So yeah, no, I changed things.
So my
Honestly,
1,500 wasn't far off. That actually makes me happy.
Yeah, honestly, that fits because like even some of the enchantments for making stuff is like an extra 150 gold, so that does work.
Yeah. The concern, Legacy, is not so much a concern for balance; it's a concern for realism. You cannot realistically wield a weapon that weighs or that is balanced for two-handed use, one-handed, and effectively fight with an off-handed weapon, which is why the Fine property makes it balanced for two-weapon fighting. So it's more of a realism lore flavor.
Immersion sim.
Yeah. Yeah, well, dual build is going to be updated. The feat's going to be changing. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and any if you have a +1 quality bonus to attack, that doesn't stack with +1 weapons. The enhancement bonus to like +1 attack and damage.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's just been a bit concerning seeing people have things that are kind of better than magic weapons already, just without the ability to pierce magic resistance.
Yeah.
Because there's one fighter who has a +1 to attack and +2 damage on their sword.
Wait, they already have an excellent quality weapon?
Yeah, they started with it.
Oh yeah, because I gave the
yeah,
I gave people that. That's on me.
Yeah, they are a bit out there right now.
Hey Nerp, I'm working on patch notes. I need a quick clarification.
Yes. It's true. It does feel clunky, which is why I wanted it to be fine.
Yeah, well, also, there were people that did like videos on that stuff. Even if you did like a rapier and pretty much a dagger, you really didn't use the dagger. It was more of
it's a parrying dagger.
It was
yeah.
Like you'd shove the dagger up between the blades so that you'd catch the sword, but you weren't actually using the dagger. It was just more like oh shit, I need to dodge or parry.
Yeah, I mean that's why the parrying property, weapon property, says that you'd lose the AC bonus if you attack with it.
Yeah.
You're giving a week's grace of previous downtime because of the equipment guide updates, right?
Yes.
Can they only spend on crafting stuff, or anything?
Anyone who has not
should
spent...
they expect the equipment guide before next Sunday?
Yes, they should. Anything that has not been spent can be spent towards crafting. Otherwise, it will be... And we're giving them a week to do that. Otherwise, it is going to be considered spent on recuperate as normal.
So only crafting or
Only
recuperate?
Crafting. Yeah, only crafting or recuperate.
I feel we should allow anything just because maybe what they were planning to do might not be possible with the new crafting rules. It'd be kind of...
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's an on us issue, so yeah, let's be at anything. I don't want to limit people. It's an us reason why it's not available yet. So yeah, just any DTD can still be spent from previous phase up till that point. But come Sunday, it will be automatically slapped into the default action.
That being said, Sack, would you
Once up back to working on the huge patch and then the meeting notes.
Huh?
Would you like to approve my last 17
I'll get. I will get to them.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Teach. You're fine. I'm kidding.
Yeah, what was detrimental for crafting?
Discord just break.
No, I
No,
think we just all
they're
got quiet.
no, we're waiting on Fist.
I'm reading Reaver. That feat's fine. It's a bonus action that you can use once per short or long rest to make a single attack. It doesn't do anything else. I mean, it heals you a little bit, but it doesn't like trigger another bonus action attack if you're already attacking, or if you already have a bonus action. So it's just the one done. Unlike the some of the others. So.
Okay, I mean it is a stress test, but goddamn, I tell them that there's an 1,800 gold budget, and they're going to spend 30. They're going to make 300 potions.
Gotcha. Yeah. Any.
You know what? That's fine.
Any shopping mercantilism requests, we can. Those are still on hold until the equipment guy's out, as per their request. All right. Vampire. Whoa. Is the Dampier, is that on just like the basic bite, or is that on something else, like a sub race?
I think it was something weird. I don't know. It was like in the balance talks. I think it was something to do with the natural.
Are they talking about Lamia? Maybe?
Maybe?
Let me go look.
Yeah.
It was probably by Brutus, I believe.
Feed, you instead train the spirit, dealing 1d8.
I think a lot of it was also just like the bonus action, like natural weapon.
Control bonus action.
Yeah.
Blood sorcery. Damage yourself, that's fun. Yeah, that should be fine. Shadow touched. Nothing regarding attacking.
Raw right now, fangs you get from the Wild Soul Barbarian either give you a bite attack or upgrade your natural attack. Is that intended? Because Animal Fury's average only upgrades the bite attack.
Go read Barbarian real quick. Looks like Dampier's fine though. I don't see any issues with Dampier.
If it's brought up, I'll just ping you in balance.
Yeah. If it's brought up again, just let me know what it is.
I don't remember. We talked for 6 hours after that stress test.
Martial bite attacks with your bite attack increases 74 plus 1 piercing damage. You already possess a natural attack that is stronger than this attack. Instead, use that attack's damage dice plus 1d4 points of damage. And then the Savagery Animal Fury gives you d6.
I think
which means that would stack to a d6 plus 1d4 plus 1. Or a d6
well, I think the question is Fangs. I think the actual question is just like Fangs says it upgrades your natural attack, or gives you a bite, and Animal Fury specifies bite.
Right.
The question is that supposed to be that way, or?
Yeah, this one's supposed to be any natural attack for that particular feature. It just is normally Fangs unless you have something else.
Yeah,
and that's
Animal
so
Fury
like
is only bite.
Yeah, it's Animal Fury is only bite.
Okay.
But it's more of a if you are a Wild Soul Barbarian and you're like, say, a Lizard Folk, or perhaps one of the, like a Shifter, something that has claw attacks, I don't want to force you to be using bites if you prefer the flavor of claws.
Okay, yeah. That's
or if you're like claws or have their own bit, yeah. So it's just the flavor name for fangs. Right, next on the list was Vajir's updated now. Shiftling. Anything I need to fix with Shiftling? Control up for bonus action.
Shifter, not Shiftling? Or...
Let's see here. Long Tooth. You can unarmed strike with his bonus action if you hit with your fangs, piercing damage.
Yes, that was one of the problem child.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm going to have like PTSD if every time I hear it, you can make an extra attack as a bonus action. No one.
I'll just change that.
Which you've had PTSD for the past week and a half.
I've had PTSD for the past 5 years. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just extra trauma. It's okay. It's okay. My private game, I run for both Chrono and Stealth. Look, I'm used to this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
we don't talk about the 400 damage in 1 round basketball jump loop.
Nope.
All right. I think anything else needs to be
I need a
updated
stronger
here.
drink.
I'm gonna copy that text real quick, just so I can put it on the other one.
I think the only other thing to really discuss was the marksman binder. But
Sec, I believe the removal of Mighty Martial attacks also solved your issue with the spells that you wanted to bring up.
what was my issue with the spells?
You wanted them to do more for
Oh, that was which.
That was me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It
Yeah,
does solve it a lot.
That should solve it.
Yeah,
I
okay.
will leave that on the table though for if for some reason
Because,
casters are still a mile behind marshals.
Yeah, casters are supposed to be we do less damage.
You less damage, more utility, right?
And then you can boost your damage up using spell slots to get around the damage of a martial.
All right, there we go. I've updated the race stuff now. That should be fine. It shouldn't be an issue anymore.
It's okay. I'll come back to you in a week with.
Wanting me to test it again.
80 DPR. Yeah. Somebody did 80 DPR or something at level 5.
Sorry,
That was complaints.
I thought it was Sack because it's been us three going at it for the last 3 days as is. So
definitely, yeah. If we see anything of like backseating or guilt tripping, do let moderators know.
Yep.
We don't want people feeling bad because people are guilt tripping them.
Backseating is against the rules.
Don't guilt trip people's IC actions, please. I swear to God.
We've already told people no enough times. They'll learn.
All right. I also updated. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I did update the overclocked magic. I kind of separated the empowered casting a little bit as a stamina action for mages. That should hopefully make them feel a bit more.
It feels like a buff more to the ones
If
that
any
have
frozen requests are unable to work after the update, should we allow them to submit something else or just turn to recuperate?
We're allowing them to change to something else.
Just let them change.
Yeah, we stated before that any changes that may happen for us balancing or when like a new class comes out, they are allowed the one free change, but after that, that's it. You made your choice. You're stuck. You're stuck in that choice.
Yeah.
I did the ping for if you.
I
get
guess
hit by a balanced sweep,
I guess
you can choose
technically with the
change.
barbarian nerfs, we should let people who are barbarians rebuild out of it.
But yeah.
Also,
No. If it's a pretty huge class update. So if they want to rebuild out barbarian, they're free to.
That's why I put it in
request.
Warkeeper, and they need to explain why they're changing, and we'll approve it.
Yeah.
If they want to rebuild out of barbarian to another class, they are free to do so.
Okay, I need you guys to give me what stuff is rebuildable to add into patch notes.
Anything that has been impacted can be
list.
rebuilt.
Technically, barbarian and alchemist, even though alchemist is a build. I don't know why you would rebuild out of alchemist just for that change. But
before style feats, if you're not a monk, you have to choose a new feat.
Yeah, that's true.
Please choose a new feat.
Yeah. So any style feat, if you are not a monk, you have to choose a different feat. If you are a monk, you are free to rebuild out of it. If you are a barbarian, you are free to rebuild out of the barbarian class to another class.
If you got hit by the marksman change, you can choose a different feat if you want.
Yeah, marksman. If you have marksman feat, you can switch that feat out. Sharpshooter feat as well. Great Weapon Master as well, because those are 2 feats that are new.
I did want to bring up one issue though, because I was reminded. Wizard spell availability. This is less of a balancing and more of a plan. I think, especially because we have a lower population, wizards are slightly less powerful than they should be because they don't have access to the scrolls for their spells.
Yeah, so they can buy scrolls using downtime swapping. They can just buy them. That's pretty expensive. They can also do spell research using downtime. So they can just any spell they have, it's like they don't need to find NPC. They can just do spell research. It takes a really long time, but per the downtime rules, that is one of the options where you can just be like, oh, I want to learn, black tentacles for some reason. Research.
Okay, so any
The
level?
research is only really viable for level 1 or 2 spells. After that, it's 60 days unless you have feats or something.
It takes a while, yeah.
Research.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
But libraries, which is a structure, once I release that, which is in the equipment guide, or not in the equipment guide, it's its own side thing. It took too much space in the equipment guide. Those have reductions in like research stuff. So like if something takes you like 60 days of downtime, if you have like a exceptional quality library, that might be reduced to maybe like 40 days or 50 days, something like that. I don't remember the actual numbers. But buildings are a thing. They do have quality benefits. They're fancy. And it is a pretty big money sink too, because it also is a upkeep sink.
Alright, maybe there is one type of rebuild I'll allow. If people wanted to play specifically for the style feat, maybe we give them a class switch also. You can rebuild from your class into a monk, I guess.
I think there's a general amount of, if your build or build plan was impacted by any of these changes, ping Lorekeeper and we'll decide if you can do a rebuild. I
Pretty
don't
much.
really want to sit here and hash out every avenue that might.
Yeah. There's way too many options. A lot of things have changed. Just if it's been impacted, let us know. As for wizards to assist others for spells, I can see that happening. I don't have any rules currently in place for that, but I can see it working.
I mean, maybe I think we should just allow it. Like, you pay the ink cost, and then you're good. You just make sure you actually meet for that.
I think currently as it stands, the way that this would work is someone just take the volunteer action, and they would give their volunteer days to the main user who's researching the spell, and that person just give them the spell. But I can also see me putting it into a list where multiple mages can work towards one particular spell, their days stacked for the total result.
I mean, that actually sounds fine, and actually that's probably realistic in this thing too, where like a bunch of wizards are coming together to research magic, right?
Yeah, I think I can
They're
just
nerds.
drop that down
They're
right
going
now.
to work together. Yeah.
And then all mages who are part of the assisting.
Did we finalize whether 5 or 10 player slots can win?
I think 10.
10 player slots.
Yeah.
10 player slots, and it'll be next week.
Need to ping them with making sure
Old win.
Stuff.
Next Sunday?
Next Sunday.
Yeah. Because we had, when we originally first polled people, we had a couple that just straight up left after they had gotten it, and some gave up their slot to be a civ.
Mm-hmm.
So we had at least 3 or 4 slots that were just gone dead, and we also have a couple people who have just not touched their sheet at all and have been inactive.
Also, meeting recordings done right.
A meeting recording is still active. We've still been doing stuff. Anything else to discuss, though? Now that it seems like we are pretty much on the tail end.
The Binder Marksman.
This is going to be a long one, LOL.
It's we've been going for 2 hours and 48 minutes.
Larage,
yeah, I'll go grab her.
Bringing them down a bit. I think either making their special arrows a long rest resource and adding a penalty to their bonus action shot.
I think I don't know about that.
My question is, how are they
long
rerolling? Because if it's a 5/6 recharge, but the recharge should only happen after all 4 arrows are expended. They shouldn't be rerolling it every turn.
Well, okay, they're shooting 2 shots every turn.
Yeah, so what, after 2 rounds? Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah,
it's that they're using multiple arrows in one turn, not that.
Obviously turn 1 is the boost, turn 2, 2 shots, turn 3, 2 shots, 4th is the recharge. Boom, 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 boom.
I see the problem.
There's degrees of how much we can nervous. We could just make the recharge 6. Recharge 6 is that's pretty hefty. We just work on it. We'll slash our odds in half, so that it's more of a nice bonus. We could also make it. I don't want to say long rest because, to be honest, I want to make short rests more worthwhile.
Maybe 6, but you have to have no arrows remaining to do the recharge.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
Because otherwise, you're rolling the recharge each turn to try to hit that 6.
I mean, I think that's just optimal, but recharge 6 is also fine. The funniest thing is, if we cut the odds in half, it's not that big of a deal if they try to recharge every turn. To be honest.
I mean, even if you just change it from D8 to D6, that'd still be fine too, right? Or is it D6 now? I thought it was D8.
It's D8. I'm fine with the damage on that, to be honest. But it's.
You're talking about New Moon arrows?
Yeah.
Okay, reading through it now. I just updated Larage's quiver. What is the issue with New Moon arrows?
I think people are worried about like how much damage they stacked. I think
I can make it a D4 and then have the D4 increase like it did with Barbarian.
We could make a scaling because you're 1d8 at like tier 1 is pretty big because I'm firing an extra longsword, right? Especially and it's a radiant damage thing.
I'd much rather have scaling.
Increases to 1d6 and let me go Brand Barbarian because I don't remember that off the top of my head what the scaling was for them.
Yeah, just make a scaling instead, and then to be honest, in a 6-7 round combat, they recharge one time. Well,
5th
twice
level,
technically,
9th
but they
level.
didn't even. Yeah, they recharge twice. If the recharge is too much of an issue, you just cut the recharge in half, and it's fine. I have gone like 14 rounds on combat and never gotten a recharge 6 before because haha, recharge 6 is funny. EXP is. I mean, I guess at that point, maybe we can allow for that. It's fine. To be honest, if their race was like heavily nerfed or something, fine. You just let them rebuild it. It's water off our back.
Don't think anyone was really playing one of the races that relied on that.
Yeah, if they were actually playing the race, then
I think
it's
Gobi
not.
was the only one, but they were doing the
Taco,
section attack.
Taco was going to too.
He was going to, yeah.
Yeah.
But he also saw this build getting nerfed into the ground because he understood what it was and how disgusting it was.
Taco understands why it
Garage
got
updated.
nerfed.
Yeah.
Because holy fuck.
Well, in Taco's example, right? He was really only going for the grapple thing, but the bonus just happened to be the more damage. So, but but he 100% saw like, oh hey, this is stupid. This is changing.
I mean, yeah, the thing is, you can still go for that. You just have to work to the stuff. It's not permanent lockout on the style feats. It's kind of a. I don't want to deal with this shit from like every single martial until like tier 2, where I can go. All right, you know what? Everybody gets slow. All right.
Yeah, and at that point, casters get their fireballs, their spirit guardians.
Their fireball, their spirit guardians, their lightning bolts. You know what? I don't want to deal with you as a mark. Here's like a sleet, whatever. Good luck. Right. It feels less bad then. But also, we are balancing for 6. Holy shit! No wonder you couldn't run a boss like.
Yeah.
40 DPR, 240 DPR. Level
I do
1.
have suggestions for some boss abilities that helps with action economy, but
there's a reason why. Go ahead.
It's just my way of making a single boss.
Oh no!
Die to
if anybody needs design tips on that, I can help.
I'm personally a fan of the classic. If it has multi-attack, remove the multi-attack and give it legendary attacks of the same.
Yeah.
I don't like the legend. This is a personal design philosophy. I don't like legendary resistances or attacks unless it's like, say, like the end boss or whatever, right?
And I just give more actions to my bosses.
I sort of. I give crowd. What I do for my design is I give crowd control, or I force you to play. I force some members of like the party to play basically a secondary mini game within the fight, and so that basically I limit how many people are attacking at the same time. That's how I do my balance with that. But everybody can figure out their own way for it.
Has anyone gone through the binder vestiges besides Larage? The only reason I bring that up is because specifically Larage kind of gave equivalents to 2 feats that we changed, and I wonder if any of the other ones also give similar feat likes that we also just changed.
That is something that we can just work on.
Most of the early ones are not as bad as Larage. A lot of the early ones, like especially like 1, 2, and 3, because we had to go through them beforehand, are just like, oh, I mean, you do get a recharge ability or a smite, but it's not as bad as Larage's stuff.
Okay.
Like even in 1, you can get an unarmed attack, but you'd have to willingly pick that because there are far better ones there that would actually help you.
Again, the funniest thing to me about all this, about binders only being strong, was Sky. Last time I saw Larage, Sky wasn't really building for damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they really weren't.
So I was just like, huh, binder doesn't do anything. But also, I also filled the same niche, so I was like, I kind of do more. But no, if you actually build for it, holy fuck.
If you build for it, binder can be nasty.
Yeah.
Sky was very much I am more
to
towards
RP.
the RP, more towards the utility side of the class.
Yeah, so I was like, huh, it's like, oh, but this seems fine. And then I noticed, like, oh, actually, if you build Dex and just pretend to be a marshal instead, oh, fuck, that's actually kind of insane.
Binder is pretty much the class of, I can be a marshal, I can be a caster, I can be both, I can be whatever we need right now.
Like, honestly, you could build binder with no charisma, just go Seal Knight, and with no charisma because you need the
charisma to bind.
Yeah. So you could go full int, say screw charisma, go knight, and then just play int hexblade and have a ball of a time.
Yeah. Anyways, now that's all covered. Anything else to bring up? Anything to note? Any stuff?
I think that's everything.
Yeah, the change to MMA covered witches spellcasting thing to a degree, not completely. The two.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say just table that for if
Yeah.
somehow Marshall is still in control.
The two weapon fighting chains that both you and Sack basically combined solved a lot of our stuff. The barb change and the fury change cleared half of our issues we were having, and now with the style feats change, that also fixed the 3-day conversation we've been having.
Yeah.
And me trying to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
If you guys are pulling your hair out, you can literally just ping me, and I will probably do it then and there if it's like that much of an issue.
I mean,
and it was a lot of trying to figure out how to give John normal monk a way to do things without giving strength monk more.
Yeah.
It's little Timmy versus like Chad Chaddington.
Yeah.
We don't
Anyways,
want to kill little Timmy.
It does sound like we're at a good point now, though.
We should be good, I think.
I will just say in the future we need to watch out for Great Weapon Master.
Yeah, that is a feat to be looked at.
Quick. Well, if we have a little bit more time, can we like scan over the Living World questions real fast, just so we don't leave people vote?
Well, I tend to look at it like every couple weeks or something, or every couple days.
Yeah.
Because there's like sharpshooter questions and all that.
Yeah, I'll scroll through it then. I'm a little behind,
Hitting
so
can close here, but we can look over after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's close that one.
Yeah,
we did have
close
pet
things
loyalty,
here.
but we can do that later too. It's not an immediate.
Well, I'm just gonna be blocking pet loyalty into the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I had pointed out before, pets are a glaring issue that never gets a actual middle ground, so we're just going to leave that to NERP.
It's true.
I'll leave that to you.
And I'm not saying that to like downplay people. I'm saying that in past experience, it is
every time.
Yes, it is a god awful time.
Yeah.
Look, we're working on reaching.
All I'm gonna say is, if I'm running a game and I eventually get to the point where somebody's familiar mountain and the dog is feeding them potions, I am going to start shooting little Timmy's dog.
Look,
I don't care.
A familiar can't.
Nerp, did we give new wordings for researching lore and gathering info yet, or is that just on the docket?
That's on there.
Okay, what if the familiar is a monkey that can actually hold potions and feed?
Sweet.
If they're a monkey, they can feed potions. Takes an action.
Hey, guess what?
That monkey is now a threat.
Yeah, monkey is getting shot now.
Yeah, it's a threat. It's doing a combat action. It's a threat.
Like, why did that monkey just get JFK'd in the grassy knolls of the jungle?
Anyways, on that note, I appreciate everyone help, all that good stuff, all the good work we've been all doing. It's very much appreciated. And good point to call the meeting with a 3-hour meeting. Hot damn, good stuff. All right.
Oh shit.